archetype in mind, though.
Yeah.
Like a brawler.
All right, we are live. I hope. All good? Okay, so we're going to be playing Fate Core. And this is session 0, so it's going to be the world creation, game creation type thing. But I guess I will explain the basics of Fate real quick. Fate is a generic role-playing game, which means that unlike D&D, which is generally always fantasy, or Star Wars, which is always sci-fi, Fate can be used for almost anything.
Pretty much.
Pretty much anything. From the Wild West to sci-fi to fantasy to horror, whatever. And the core functionality of Fate is made up of aspects, which is basically a word or phrase that describes something.
Yeah, it's just a descriptor.
And so pretty much every major character, player or NPC, will have a number of aspects. And these can be their profession, their personality, their allegiances, their problems, pretty much anything that makes up the core of the character. NPCs have similar types of things, but aspects can go beyond just people. It can be to the whole game itself, to the whole world. It can apply to a city. It can apply to a building. It can apply to a room. It can apply to a ladder. Aspects are kind of pretty much everywhere, and you're encouraged to continually create them and modify them and do things with them. There's also going to be various skills, depending on what type of game we're playing, what setting we're playing. There could be just the default list of skills with maybe some modifiers or additions to those, like if we're playing in a modern campaign, something with computers or tech might be a skill. Other than that, it's a very narrative-based game, which is going to be pretty different for Thomas, who has only played simulation-type games. Unlike, say, D&D, where everything is pretty much run by the rules, Fate is pretty much run by the story.
Shadowrun wasn't a bad intermediary step for him, though, because we didn't really use a character, or we didn't use like a grid or anything like that. So
No, but it is also as gamey as it can get. So, in a way, it's kind of the opposite of Shadowrun. Yes.
Can it be both? Is it more the opposite of Shadowrun or of D&D?
It's the opposite of both. Kind of.
Yeah, there's kind of a spectrum of things where,
well,
one is defined so much by rules, where everything is rules. Anything you could or could not do has a rule or could be made up as a rule, whereas Fate, it's more about how we describe things and the narration of things between us and the GM.
I mean, this is your character sheet in total,
Yes.
so you're
More
not
or less, yes. Yeah. Alright, so Phil, why don't you take it away?
Okay, so I wouldn't worry about these other sheets. I've made some sheet cheese for you, which will probably come up more in play than in character creation. But first rule of business is deciding setting. That includes just general sort of what it's about and the scale. So that's the first thing we'll start with. After that, we'll go into some major people, faces, places, and issues. In between, we'll probably switch between character creation and back, just because as we sort of come up with ideas, we'll realize things about the game and about our characters and vice versa.
Okay.
So what are your guys' thoughts on what sort of game? I mean, there's
Big discussion right
you
there.
could be a group of kung fu garbage men. You could be Ghostbusters. It could be a high fantasy. It could be futuristic. It could be alternate Earth. Anything steampunk.
Well,
Earth 2.
Yeah. So what sort of games are you guys looking for?
I will put forward. I mean, I'm good with absolutely anything.
And we can mix up your ideas two into one. It'll all kind of go
but just
organically.
to start a discussion, I guess I'd lean towards either fantasy, because I'd like to try fantasy with Fate, or modern / somewhat postmodern.
I agree with that. And that goes into my idea, which was I want there to be time travel.
You want there to be time
Okay.
travel.
It doesn't have to be, but that's just an idea.
That's
Well, there could be time travel for you.
There could be
And
that
it
time
matters
travel
more to you.
happened, or that it's a
Yeah.
part of the universe, not necessarily that it's a mechanic that we use.
Right.
Yeah.
So it could
Probably
be
be the healthiest.
Ziggy. Thoughts?
I'm still aspiring to have a cool sci-fi campaign that I've really liked, but
Okay.
I think I'd prefer. I think there's intersect with modern for me with a character, so
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd drift away from the fantasy personally. I like the idea of the space setting or a setting where you can go between different planets because that just opens up a huge range of possibilities as far as like the government systems you could encounter and allows the scale to be flexible too because the scale can basically grow infinitely, but you could be starting basically on a planet where you don't really have an immediate means of leaving or something like that, like an outer colony type world or something like that. So
Makes sense. And if,
So are you thinking more?
and I think there's possibilities with like magic characters too in the sci-fi with like you could have it like as a psionic based character or some sort of nano machine manipulator or something like that.
So
So
you're
I think
thinking like full blown sci-fi.
it's what it's
yeah, I know. That's what I like. I like that with Fate. Yeah.
okay.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's fine.
I mean, you could have
We can-
a starting setting that's technology is very regressed compared to a lot of the galaxy.
it's
Mhm.
true.
Yeah, that's
true.
possible. It actually makes for a lot
And
of
then
interest.
time travel, I think, is very plausible too when you reach this far ahead in time. So I think a time travel character makes sense too. That's just my pitch for the sci-fi
Oh,
perspective.
that's fine.
Yep.
What do you guys think about that then? I mean, like
I'm okay with the whole. I mean, I love sci-fi. It's fine, but I would be interested in trying to start out a bit more limited.
we could have sort of a primitive thing that eventually becomes more technological.
Yeah,
maybe. I
As
mean,
long
like,
as my character doesn't have to be too primitive.
well, there. I mean,
Yeah.
like a lot of crossover between that is any sort of. I don't want to say like wasteland, but sort of post. I don't want to say post-apocalyptic, but
No.
that sort of feel where it's.
Tatooine.
Yeah, like that sort
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
That's one way to approach it, and it could still even be, just if you're
Mm-hmm.
aiming for modern, then that could be like Earthish, and maybe I don't know if there's
I prefer
stargates
to
or anything
start-
like that.
I mean, I don't want to be in a wasteland to start.
Okay, well that's fine. Wastelands are wasteful.
Yeah, I'd like some city, at
Mm-hmm.
least at the start, to be
Yep.
somewhat central. Not a huge city, I guess, but okay.
More than just a tavern and a few huts.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thomas,
I don't know. I'm just trying to think.
like I know you want a time travel aspect in there somehow.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. Like, do I come from the past or the future?
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
Far
that's-
future.
It's a
That's what
profound
that's what I
question.
wonder
Everything's
if we
just
could,
kind
of-
if
I
we
mean-
could combine the sci-fi thing. What if me and Sean come from the future, and so that's why we're starting in a more primitive place, and then maybe eventually we find
We
a way
can
to get back.
We can get back. That would be
I
interesting.
mean, yeah, and a good
So
way to
you
mix
mean we would start in modern day?
or.
Ish.
Ish.
Or
I
even
mean, if you
a
wanted
little
to
bit further
somehow
back.
mix fantasy and sci-fi, that's a good
Oh,
way too.
man.
Like you're back in
Fantasy and
medieval
sci-fi.
that
and
seems a little hard to
Okay.
me. Like,
Well, you could have a sci-fi
I mean,
universe.
Star Wars is sci-fi fantasy.
Right. You think of like Dune, where like society is very medieval,
like,
but
like
they're far in
maybe
the
some
future.
artifacts from the future or something came
Yeah.
back, and it's a medieval sort of progression out of that. That's a way.
Okay.
So
Silent ballot.
what I've got now is about some aspect of time travel. We do want sci-fi to be
Yeah.
very involved,
That's
to,
fine,
to the
yeah.
point of other planets or other worlds.
Eventually, yes.
And then
To
there's
a
just,
progression of
or
that.
rather than just time travel, what about just like universe travel? I'm thinking.
Stargate.
I'm
It's
thinking.
like
I'm thinking
Stargates
Flash.
sort of thing.
a universe full of
Flash is
stargates.
time travel.
It's yeah, time travel, but also like the Earth 2 and like the whatever the wormholes to other alternate.
Oh, okay.
Imagine
timelines.
a universe where there's these stargates all throughout. Like each planet has one, maybe multiple stargates. Some stargates are hidden. Some stargates are public knowledge.
Ruled by
And-
some governments.
Well, it all depends on
Depends
which
on the planet.
Right.
I
some,
mean, yeah.
that-
Some
that sounds
absolutely
kind
would
of
just be
exciting. And you know
very
how
private.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mass Effect, but basically there were these pre-existing warp structures that basically allowed for intergalactic travel, and they actually could control where they were traveling with them. Imagine a universe where like all these stargates, like You have no idea if you're ever going to see your home again after going through these stargates, and they're a little bit more mysterious in nature, so that it isn't just this interconnected interstate system throughout the universe, but a bit more like, you know,
random.
Maybe some can be controlled. I think it's just it's an interesting concept.
I like the concept of it. I also don't want, like, if you guys make any connections on worlds or build any sort of infrastructure out of your stories, that it's just like it's gone.
Well, as a DM, you have control over.
Yeah,
well,
which
I
star
feel like you guys are
conflicts
going back here. I could, you know.
Well, I'm saying, you know, if all the properties of the various gates are unknown, they would be known to you deep down. So
Oh,
you could that's your hidden hand.
My
like,
hidden hand.
so-
It could be a revealed thing if
that
you
way-
guys want to draw resources out of some place or
Yeah.
something like
So
that.
you're suggesting there's no like spaceship travel?
Maybe within. I'm saying
Within-
there's
within
no
a system.
there's
No
no like
interstellar.
warp capable spaceships.
All right.
Like travel between systems, like, you know, a little bit faster than modern day, but you're not going to be able to just like warp to Coruscant, you know, from like instantly. But
some planets, some systems would be able to just
yeah, and I
fly
imagine
between
those
them.
would be some of the more successful, or at least larger planets that actually have known skulls in their gates, where they know where they're going when they. But you know,
And it's conceivable that these gates could go to other dimensions.
oh, I mean, yeah. Imagine if we're
another planet, another dimension.
So that's how
if
you
these have
bring
been
a
here for
wizard in.
billions of years. You know, these cool things. You know, who knows where they lead?
That's an
They could
interesting
lead to the
idea.
Cthulhu mythos.
Like alternate
I always like
timelines.
Cthulhu mythos. I mean, some gate just starts pumping
Yeah.
out
Okay.
Shogoths or something. You got a big problem.
You gotta have some really heavy weaponry
Yeah.
for that.
So I guess if that sort of gives a vague idea to what you guys are looking for in terms of theme and scale, how would you want to approach it from like a party angle? Like, what do you want to be doing in this universe?
Well, that sounds
Then I need to determine my character.
Yeah, that's, okay, that is a good point.
So I think
So what could I
We
call
could-
this for now?
It sounds like we're just doing everything.
That's why I thought it's kind of a menagerie of all sorts of different genres and
That
things.
has
Well,
it
I
has a
guess-
risk of losing focus.
I guess
in some
it does.
ways.
I guess personally, to me, I like the idea of using the Stargates, not so much like just the space travel part.
no.
I
Well,
think that's part of
I think there
sci-fi.
won't be much space
Our-
travel.
our approach isn't going to be like, let's just make Phil come up with as many worlds as possible and keep
No,
jumping through
the
these.
ones-
That's not how we're going to do it. We're going to follow our motivations. If it ever is advantageous for us to like just go into the beyond, if we're in like, even if we
Well,
have access
hold
to the,
on.
we don't even know if
Let
we'll
me,
have.
let me ask you this question.
Sure.
Throughout an entire campaign of this, how many
Yeah.
times do you think you'll step through a gate? Just guess.
Two.
Two.
Okay,
There you go. So it's not many different.
A way to handle that is
Yeah.
to not make it central to what you guys are doing, but it's some universe where these do exist.
They
and it's
exist.
known
Right,
that
and
they
it's
part-
up,
it's
exist.
a
and
part
it's
of-
up
yeah,
to you.
yes.
It's
So-
up to you to determine on whichever planet we are if we would have access to it right away, or if it would be a huge undertaking
Which
just to
probably
get,
more interesting if it's a bit hidden. I mean,
or
it's a
bit hidden, like,
or,
maybe
or
not,
locked
like-
down.
Yeah.
You know, in,
Yeah,
in
like
some
if they
yeah.
exist. It's known that they exist
Yeah.
in some capacity.
Yeah.
Some capacity.
And maybe that could explain like why, for example, a character came from some other gate, maybe by accident or on purpose, or didn't know where he was
Yeah.
going. That's why he's here, and maybe that's how you
It
learn about him.
Basically allows
Yeah.
people to come from all sorts
All
of
sorts
backgrounds.
of backgrounds, all
and
sorts of
It
places.
wouldn't be. Yep.
It affects sort of the politics and
I mean,
demographics
if you
of
walk
each region
through,
too.
if you came from this other fantasy world and walked through a gate and stumbled into like a lockdown, that's some shit right there.
Well, it's possible too if these
You'll need to be
gates
processed.
weren't always in lockdown that there are quite a few mixed
Yeah.
creatures from that are part of normal society.
I
in
think that's an
these
interesting
worlds.
thing though too, if it's known or not.
Known where it goes.
Like
Maybe.
if the general, if everyone in the world just knows about this and it's a common fact, or if it's
Right.
not really known.
Maybe it's known about and there's evidence that it's happened, but now it's on lockdown.
Yeah.
So you know, like I don't.
By lockdown,
Maybe
do you
it's
mean,
like
what do you mean?
under control, you know, regulated in
Right.
some way on whatever
Some
world you're.
entity.
The
Yeah.
government,
Yeah.
the
Government.
despot,
Yeah.
the
despot.
creatures.
Hey, I
whoever,
love the despot.
Whoever,
The
whoever
benevolent-
controls it.
the
Yep.
benevolent
Yeah, and that
overlord.
also
Yeah.
makes a really great
Yeah.
group motivation if it is something sinister.
Right.
Or what about like
Could be
if
bringing in
what about like
thugs
if in
to
the
just
past
enforce his
everyone it was
little
all
kingdom,
free
you
and
know,
people were
just
coming and
pouring
going,
through
and
that
at some
gate,
point,
man. We
Some
gotta-
point it
it's
got
still
then it
locked
got
down.
locked down.
maybe it was free and open for a short while, and then once maybe there was conflicts fought over these, between invaders.
It's like a natural resource. It invites conflict wherever
it's
these will be.
The Dark Portal in World of Warcraft sort of thing.
And depending on like how long it's been locked down, maybe it's like not. Maybe it's like not really believed in anymore.
Yeah.
For example,
that's just a legend. There's
no
gate.
It's a legend. There's no gate.
There's no bathroom.
People would eventually forget and not care.
Big government
I
warehouse.
think it was just fairy tales back in. Oh yeah, people were going from portals.
And people like, well, where do we get all this crazy shit? And then be like,
but it wouldn't be crazy if
it's normal by that time. It's become part of normal society. So I'm getting a vibe of sci-fi, sort of a little postmodern at least.
For that, the starting planet at least.
Sure, that's what I would expect. Or else, however, guys, you want to do it.
I mean, jumping between different planets across different galaxies and different dimensions, the tech levels and all that could be very different.
Mm-hmm.
But for the starting one, yeah, somewhat postmodern could be cool.
I mean, you could have one world where everyone's guarding it with sticks.
Right. Yeah. But with oddities, right?
Yeah.
Like there's potential for odd flora and fauna and things like that.
Kind of like little Numenera-esque.
Yeah.
So we'll say some things have bled through this portal into the starting world.
And
in addition to whatever would naturally exist.
Naturally
right.
exist.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now I'm getting... I'm trying to find a quick way to just summarize it in a name to throw down just for initially, so we can move on to other stuff too.
Well, you've done this before. We haven't.
Okay,
so.
I mean...
Portals Unknown campaign, Hidden Door campaign, Star Map campaign. I mean...
I'm so tempted to call it Stargate.
Well, I tried to deliberately avoid Stargate.
I know.
Because I think of that movie.
Yeah,
I've never seen...
That's fine.
Stargate, so to me
a little
it's all
different.
this is
It's a little
Stargate.
different.
I wasn't trying to channel Stargate, but
the
idea
I can
just kind of
I
popped
can
into
feel
my
it.
head.
It's kind of going away from that sort
Yeah,
of...
a little bit.
Because then it would be Egyptians and you bring in a nuke.
Just write something down, Phil.
Okay, I'm gonna call them...
Star portals.
Star portals.
Star portals.
Portals.
Portals of the Star.
Worldwide.
Prestige worldwide.
Myths of the Star Portals. We'll call it that for now.
Okay, there you go. So evocative.
Okay,
Just
and
people
for setting and scale, we'll just put, it's kind of unknown right now.
The sky is not the limit.
Yeah.
There is no
I
limit.
mean, it's going to start out in just a
Start
city.
at home city. That's all
And
we'll
then
really
it could
say about
eventually
it.
get quite crazy.
It'll be fluid.
Yeah.
Okay,
fluid.
so for this, I'm gonna ask you guys, we're gonna have 2 issues in this world.
Okay.
One will be a current existing issue, such as there's an oppressive government that's just here, and that's an issue,
Yeah.
or there's climate change that's happening, and then another one will be sort of an impending issue, like everything's about to go in lockdown, or everyone's talking about the portal exploding in 3 years or something like that, or something more socially related and societal.
I like the idea of a megacorp that has been utilizing the gate for their own purposes and have been putting out tech and stuff like that people don't know where they come up with it, but they do, and they pretty much run the city.
It's just like
Do you think
it's
dystopian
always
going to be
control.
known that they're using the portals or not?
You always don't want to
I
make...
mean, we as players know.
Well, no.
But
Yeah.
character-wise, I don't know.
It might know, maybe
That's, a big
someone who
secret.
just looks up and sees this great big covered portal or something might be like, huh, that seems
I would prefer it to be a bit more secretive.
secretive.
Yeah.
maybe
I like the
maybe
idea of
a
being
portal
secret,
in a
at
cave
least
or something.
Secret. Yeah, probably either secret or just probably secret.
They've been
So-
running things for a while. They
se-
control the
Yeah.
information.
Secret, but there's a lot of
It's like
old,
the world-
old history that
Yeah.
people don't talk about
The
anymore.
world is
Right,
like
right.
North Korea. Just
Whoa,
I don't know if you want that.
whoa!
The deck would be a little stacked against us
Yeah.
starting out there.
not
Yeah.
quite that bad, but the idea
No.
of
Okay,
the
well, I'm
government
gonna
or
put
the
for a
corp.
current issue Megacorp.
Well,
Yep.
We might
imagine-
even call it Megacorp for all I know.
If you imagine,
Could
I think it's a fun idea. Imagine an industry where there's a monopoly. It's like, oh, it sucks. I have to always get my car from here. I always have to
Right.
get my utilities from. Imagine a megacorp where it's like a planetary monopoly.
Right.
Like, obviously they're not gonna just make the populace unhappy, but they're in a very advantageous position
They live the greatest
because it's
of
always
lives.
when you have kind of your more evil government in a setup, it's always more interesting and genuine when they're not just evil for the
Right.
sake
It's
of being
it's
evil,
more
but
complex
it's just
and realistic.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yep.
So we could put Megacorp controls almost everything. Is that a good way to name that issue?
Mega controls almost everything, but not.
Not
Dislike.
dictatorship.
I would say
No.
maybe they control the
They're
portals.
just
specifically,
transparent
and, like,
enough about it.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there's some little civil government that's in place
yeah.
that you know
Yeah.
answers to the big boss. You know,
Right.
but yeah.
What if they're?
Megacorp.
I feel like maybe
subtle
they're.
rule.
I don't know if they control like everything. Like I wouldn't say like they're like.
Yeah,
one
that's
company.
fairly overdone.
I think
Imagine-
it's almost like they
imagine if
control the
they-
portals. Like maybe that's how it started. They control the portals, and through that they get all this like special
Imagine
technology and
Yeah,
like.
that's what I was saying.
if there
Yeah.
are different companies, but secretly one parent company, it's false market competition.
So,
That would be really interesting too.
Megacorp monopolizes.
Like,
It's up to you
through
just
many-
exactly
I'm just-
how that all
Yeah.
will work out,
Yeah.
but I think there's a lot of fun
Keep some
possibilities
surprises.
with there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just put for now sort of vague. Megacorp has control, and we'll know what it means. Okay. What would you guys think of as initial thought for an impending issue? So something bad that's on the way, not so secretive like there's an alien ship coming in like 5 years that no one knows about, but something more that you guys would be able to relate to in
Well,
some way.
I'll just, as to give out an idea, you can have some really interesting, unique environmental issues when you're on a planet other than
Oh,
Earth.
and like just
Yeah.
There
air
could
pressure,
be-
like pushing
right,
in all
you know,
the
like think of
microbes.
Total Recall. Give these people air.
Yeah.
I'm not, like, I'm not saying there's like no oxygen, but
Yeah.
there could be like some sort of terraforming thing going on that's starting
Like-
to enter into a crisis level,
Yeah.
or you know,
I mean, I also always
like-
like the Cthulhu mythos, so you could work that. We do have a strange portal that we don't know much about.
Well, yeah, one way like
the planet's core could be unstable,
the planet.
True.
and it could cause like random earthquakes and explosions, and maybe the rich actually live off of the surface level or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
and-
just
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think if we want it to be like an impending issue, it should be something that has some sense of urgency. Otherwise, we could turn that into a current issue too, where it's like Earth is shit, kind of, well, not shit, but. I mean,
Well,
there could be
it's hard
clues
to
coming
have,
up
like-
from like the portal like
it's difficult to think of like an immediate threat or danger until I know kind of what my character would
I
be
think
involved-
then we should
involved
switch
in.
over to character creation.
I think we should make our
keep thinking,
Because we'll get an idea of impending things once
Yeah.
we know like what organizations what other faces and places are here and what relate to you guys.
I keep thinking like the idea of having both like many planets and galaxies and also the portals. Then I'm wondering what's the difference between them? Because like so the portals locked down, but if you have aliens coming from faraway galaxies, they would have all sorts of technology too. What's really being restricted, or what's the difference?
Well, the thought
between
is that there's
using the
no
portals
fast
using-
and light
There's
travel
not that
ships.
any ship
Like,
There's no ship
you're
travel
not traveling
coming
between
to us.
galaxies.
there's a different situation on each planet.
Yeah.
We're assuming,
Right.
but I'm thinking our characters don't know anything outside of our immediate planet.
Right.
And so, technology levels could be different. And since there isn't one like master plan to how they all work together, even advanced technologies who might want to try and move to other areas to like conquer them or something may not
it'd be hard 'cause
actually be able to do
There'd
that
be
either.
unpredictability in
And
the
so,
portals.
like,
throughout the
on-
campaign, maybe we'll start to understand how they work.
oh, there is a
and-
pattern to
So,
these.
yep.
So on the planet we're on right now, do we have space travel?
No.
I would say that nobody has space travel Star Trek style, but that we all have advanced NASA space travel at least. Maybe there's some societies that like travel over like billions of years through the stars or something.
But so
not
for,
like
like
warp.
mass style travel is like, oh, we go to Jupiter and there's like just civilization there.
No.
Is that the idea?
Is there a civilization on Jupiter right now?
No, but we're
No.
talking
Not that
about
we know
having
of.
aliens.
Well, yeah.
So there are no aliens that we know of. There is no other life that we know of.
No, there is just not like classic like 1960s Martians on Mars sort of thing. More
We're
like
not assuming this is Earth, that this
Yeah.
planet
I
I
is.
would
this
say
could-
we're not on Earth.
okay, okay, that makes it easier.
Yeah, it
say,
makes it easier.
say we're just in some solar system.
I would say we don't know about aliens.
No, not explicitly.
I
Maybe
mean,
maybe
we
through
think.
maybe there's like old history that
Yeah.
isn't taught in
Okay.
schools
People
anymore
talk
about
about
it.
it, maybe.
Nobody talks about it. Maybe some alien. Maybe what race is here is a mix of some aliens already.
Yeah.
My idea for this, what I understand from you guys talking about space travel, is that there's no like warp travel. There's no like probably no other aliens in the same solar system as whatever
Right.
solar system, but from one solar system to another, Maybe there's a gate there. Maybe there's a portal there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it clicking?
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
mean,
So are the portals really to other places?
other could be other planets. It might, if it is to other dimensions, maybe that's why it's so hard to tell for like a conquesting civilization. They're like, we think this went to another planet in our galaxy or maybe our universe, but we can't really tell. We don't know. You know, it's just we just know there's these portals to other worlds.
Okay.
Maybe that's something that's revealed later. Maybe it's not between normal planets. That makes sense. Okay, so we are going to try some character creation. First thing that I want you guys to do is write down a high concept. Under your aspects, you have this one line that says high concept. Now, this will be more or less, and not the quintessential thing about your character, but sort of
Pretty important.
the most important thing. So you could be, you know, gun
Hopeless
for hire.
gambler.
You could a hopeless Well, hopefully you want it to be some.
Something.
I mean, you want.
Yeah, I know,
There
I
will be
would-
some negatives
that's more of a
associated.
trouble
Yeah,
than-
that's more of
than
a
a high
trouble. Like
concept,
of a high
yeah.
concept and a trouble. So like your high concept might be, you know,
irredeemable.
I'm, you know.
Let's get a little bit better.
Rising star of the police force could be, you know, a high concept,
You'll
or it
make
could be
chief
like
someday.
tinker with, you know, really good ideas, or just sort of generic. Like I've got one example character sheet. This guy, his name is Landon. He's in sort of a D&D-esque sort of style universe, and his high concept is Disciple of the Ivory Shroud, which in his game is like sort of not quite a cult, more or less, but he's a warrior, and that conveys multiple things. It conveys, you know, what he is, and you know, something about one of his associations. So,
Yeah. So, basically, anything you want to like add to your character that is part of the larger world, we can add to the larger world. Like, you can contribute it.
So are you gonna allow like metahuman types?
yeah, I'll allow whatever you guys can come up. We'll discuss it as a
We're
group.
making up as we go, man.
So, if you guys want there to be metahuman types, like we can just be like, yeah, there's metahuman types on our planet too. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
so-
I think that is a good possibility
I
to
think it
allow,
is.
because then if you allow no types of metahumans, you basically restrict it to intellectual, martial, and you know, just basically not anything that's not visible prowess, you know,
Yeah.
or only visible.
I
so.
feel like that can make sense, especially if there's like an earlier time when the portals were more free and people were coming back and
Right.
forth. Like you
You
might
could
have
have
a
mixed
big
bloodlines.
mixture
Big mixture.
Yeah.
of like just unusual things.
But then people would be like, well, I guess eventually people would
People would be like, this is normal.
This is how it is.
normal.
This is
Yeah.
life.
So I'm thinking of either playing a vampire who
I'm a
like
vampire.
like maybe way back in the day, you know, his family came here, his ancient ancestors, and their blood has just been continuing.
Yep.
Or like just playing Gug.
The net runner. That's
I
pretty
mean-
slick.
which
Just like a tinkerer.
Yeah, which Gug?
which Gug?
Just a-
There is
Was he
just
the-
the
is-
one.
is
No,
Gug
no,
the
Gug
NPC?
I was thinking. No,
Oh,
Gug's
Gug
him.
was your character.
yeah, just like a tinkerer guy who's good with tech and things like that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
If we don't have a character that's really good at talking, then I'll play as Frederick.
And I'll be encouraging you guys to all do interaction if you want to or not through compels or else just shit happening. So.
I'm starting to come to think that when there's 3 player characters, I think it works best if they know each other a little bit.
Oh,
going
you
into
guys,
the game.
we'll be
I
getting
don't like
into that.
thrown together.
No,
as
no,
much
no.
as
That's
they
kind of
should.
built.
Your
around-
bottom
Yeah.
three,
Yeah.
your last 2 concepts will tie each other to each other
Okay.
very closely. You guys
Yeah.
will be knowledge. So basically, I'll just outline what we're doing. So we've got the high concept, which will be what your character more or less is a trouble, which can be I'm an alcoholic. The bottle calls to me, or it could be something.
Bottle calls to me.
There you go.
Call
There
of the
you go.
bottle.
So it could be something personal.
Call of Cthulhu.
I'm saying right now you can't use paranoia or amnesia.
Wow.
I will.
Or-
I will
Or
have
it could be,
glad
some,
that you
could
thought
be
about
something
that.
like the Irish Mafia wants to cut off my dick.
Whoa. There's
could-
an Irish mafia in this world.
It could be
Very
they could have
big-
just like
very
stumped
big
it in the
Lebowski.
portal.
with the
Goddamn
German
right.
nihilists and
Yeah.
the ferret man.
You know,
Well,
or it could be something like my brother's always asking me for money and he's always in trouble. It could be
Just as a general question, like, what are we planning to do?
yeah, that's a good point. Like, what does your party like? You as players, what do you want to
be
be doing?
very active characters.
You-
because that's
oh
what it
yeah,
is.
so good point to make. You guys are gonna be proactive,
I feel like
competent
there should be a
players,
reason.
characters.
There should be a reason that we want
to
to like go through a gate or something. Like you should
Well,
have a
yeah.
reason. Maybe like a reason
Not
to think.
necessarily, but we could.
It could be you uncover some plot and you're like, holy shit,
Right.
you got to go through
Like,
the
like
gate.
what,
Or it could
what
be by
devotion do
Goals can be dynamic, but your like
The
inner
core of
drive
your
should be
character-
something that you can identify. Like,
We could be like, PIs or
or you get
mercenaries or something.
could have
I was
great,
like
you could be pursuing greatness.
romanticized mercenary unit.
Yeah.
You could have greatness
Against
thrust
the
upon
odds,
you.
Yep.
Right.
There's generic
Yeah.
thing. I mean, you guys could just be friends who happen to be very highly skilled, competent people, and then something happens, maybe related to.
I think
to
it's
your
better when
aspects.
there's more than just we're friends.
Yeah.
like, because then it's
No.
it's crazy that we're
I've-
doing all this all
I,
of a sudden.
I've had, I mean, the last 2 campaigns I've ran, I haven't stressed hard enough to make people friends on when they connect to each other, and sort of it's like I had one guy who cut off another guy's arm in the past, and
Well,
we
I'm
cut
sure
off
that's
his
gonna
ear.
happen.
so
He cut off his ear dancing around.
yeah,
him.
but
I
he
like
didn't
that
do
he's tied
anything
up.
positive.
I like to
related
do
to
it in the present, not in the past.
Yeah.
So, for now, I'm gonna say. So, Tom, what kind of character do you think you'd want to play? Just like
Go to Thomas.
Spitball.
irrelevant
Throw some out
of
there.
like
Throw some out
maybe
there,
the
man.
issues at hand, and just like what do you want to
with
play?
no issues at all?
Just throw some out there.
Something
or even related to that.
with magic-like powers.
Okay,
there we
so
go.
I
So
mean,
that's
like before you
something-
said you wanted to be a time traveling wizard.
Yeah, so I don't want to be this. I'm not. It doesn't seem to make sense anymore to be a stereotypical wizard, but it sounds
You
like
could
that
be
could
like-
be something that has like.
So your family, like my idea, could have gone through the portal a
Could come
while
through the
back,
portal.
and you've been just part of this family that knows.
yeah,
magic.
and would it just be a family, or would it be just like a race or something? I don't know.
Well,
Race
would your
or-
magic be inherent to you, or would it just be something anybody could learn?
Is it something like?
I was picturing.
is it something
like,
assisted by technology?
inherent.
Okay,
inherent?
so,
So,
then
like-
it could be part of your bloodline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could be like
Right.
your. It doesn't have to be your whole. Maybe just like your clan came through the portal on a whim some decade.
So I think we're
generations
assuming
ago.
almost nobody else has magic. So
Well,
it'd be
I
kind of
assume there
it's
could be.
rare.
There could be
It's
other
always
people.
best
It could be
Could
rare,
be
but
other
it
people.
might not
assume
be
there
unheard
would
of.
be.
It's not.
Cubs
We're
like-
not in a setting where people are throwing around fireball.
But which is what would make your character
Probably-
very much
probably
more
not.
special. Which is
Right,
good. We want
right.
some specialty from you guys too.
Yeah, but like I imagine like there could because like where I came from, I assume my powers aren't special. Like,
But that
where
was
I,
years and years.
Yeah,
and
it was
years
You
like a
ago.
really long time
you
ago.
might not know of
You might not
came
even
from
know.
a place that wasn't here.
Right. You might not even.
But it
know
might
why
just
you
be
can
to
do
your
stuff.
clan that you guys sort
Oh,
of keep.
that's true.
to
Yeah,
yourselves.
maybe I wouldn't know.
Right.
But you do.
You just know
But-
you can do things
Yeah.
that not many other people
Alright.
can do.
Yeah.
I was thinking magic for a while. Thomas wants to do magic. I'm fine because I have an interesting backup
Okay,
plan.
what's
Okay.
your thoughts on you?
All right. Somebody told me at one point in time that I was part of some royal bloodline, not of this planet,
Okay.
and
Some
so
other planet.
I want to start a galactic empire.
Wow.
And
Holy
I have
shit.
a piece of variable alien technology that is adaptable. And so, like, imagine like this little like cube thing.
Are you Emperor Palpatine?
No. Nope.
Just want to make sure.
No. Like, basically,
No.
I'd like to say I'd like for my character to at least have knowledge of the portal because it makes a lot of sense as to my motivations. You can give me
Okay.
zero
Zero
like
to
actual access to it. That's fine. But I like this idea that at least somebody in the group knows about it,
You
and
could
it's kind of
Maybe
like.
it's something like you haven't been outside, but you've got maybe
But,
an heirloom.
but I've been convinced that
You've
I
been
came from
convinced.
another
You've
planet.
What
been
if
convinced,
you-
like somebody
so-
showed you, like, look, this is from your family.
No, no, that's pretty much what it is. I'm gonna work out the details, but yeah, basically, I was told by somebody else about this. I have this weird piece of technology that I can use to various advantageous
Okay.
things, and I have this burning desire to figure out more about the
So
portal.
you
Okay.
definitely see yourself as like a diplomat.
I would
Or
like to,
okay,
like
yes,
I'll definitely go with
galactic
Doug. Yeah.
royalty, galactic something.
because I really want to be on Gug's team.
Yeah.
I like to see what we could achieve
okay.
together.
So what would you think of? I guess what would all you guys think of for like a high concept? So this could be a phrase. It could be just something that doesn't have to be completely direct. Just doesn't have to be vague. So like
Well, a very key thing for aspects, and this helps Thomas, I think. I don't know if it especially matters for high concept, but a little bit. Is they all should be double-sided.
oh yes. So well, I think a lot of that's
You could start a magic religion.
Well, I guess I'll explain.
you could be like
what
my
you do with
bishop.
aspects.
That'd be really cool.
So aspects during the course of a game,
Make stuff. Sorry.
aspects during the course of a game can be invoked, which means you spend a fate token, a fate point, and you get a bonus to a roll or a reroll for a specific roll. If that aspect kind of ties in.
yeah. If you can argue
If you can
how
justify
that
it.
works.
But they can also be compelled against you
So
in a
use-
negative way in which case Phil or somebody else will give you.
I would say
a fate point.
because you're a mystic or magic man or whatever, you know, there's some people who are after your powers, they want to get you damn your luck,
Right.
and then something bad happens, something complicated happens to you, I give you a fate point. So basically, I'd power you guys up by having drama happen to you.
Yes.
And
So-
you guys use that power back.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
based on
called
your
the fate
aspect.
point economy, where you're
Yeah.
constantly using your aspects in positive ways to help benefit yourself, and they're also used against you, so you keep getting fate points and so on and so forth. And also to continue the story in interesting ways.
Yeah, so maybe not like a super awesome wizard would be a bad high concept because it's not double-edged in any
Right.
way. But a
So
wizard,
so by double it,
like
it
double-edged
can be
is
good or bad.
Right.
good, good in most situations, bad in some situations too. So like,
So think of like Tony Stark. His high concept could be like half machine. Like not specifically, but somebody like him where on the one hand he can do really awesome things as a result of that, but on the other hand
There are some
maybe he
things
has
that-
doubts about losing his grip on humanity, or like he has a malfunction and it starts to, like cripple him or something. So
There's some good at
so,
Yeah.
so the bad side can be, you know, personal to you, or it could be related to your relationships with people or groups. You
Yeah.
know? And you don't have to decide so much on it right now. either.
So the example here is, if you take the aspect computer genius, like you can absolutely figure the positive implications of that,
Yeah.
but negative, that's a little trickier. But if you change it to nerdy McNerderson, you still get the positive stuff of being
Yeah.
really good with computers and stuff and tech, but you also get the negative aspect of not being so good socially or something like that.
if it doesn't sound OP, but it sounds interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting is
For the high
interesting.
concept.
Sounds like drama
For all
component,
aspects.
all of the aspects.
All
yeah.
aspect. Okay.
All right, let's see. Doug, he's a real asshole.
He's uncouth.
He's uncouth. So they're both
That's
definitely
always-
uncouth.
So is each one of these both a high concept and a
No,
trouble?
no, no,
No,
You only have one
just-
high concept.
just
We're only
one
we're
high
only
concept.
concentrating on the high concept right now.
Yeah.
Just one phrase that
So
you can think
isn't
of.
that like positive and negative? Is it
No,
trouble?
you're gonna have
double-edged?
positive and negatives to 5 things in your life here. 5 aspects.
So is there really a difference between trouble and high concept?
Yeah, so
Yes.
high concept trouble will be very separate from high concept, because obviously on a high concept like half machine, you can think of bad things from that. You'd want a separate trouble, separate from your high concept, almost totally divorced from it if possible, unless it's like something like say you're like, I'm a rising star of the police force. Like, obviously, criminals are going to hate you. You don't want to write criminals hate me as their trouble. But you might say, like, Don Giovanni really hates me. You know, that could be, a more specific
Blood feud.
thing.
Yeah.
But in general, I'd
Yeah.
encourage, separate ones.
Here's
So you can
what
think of both right now if you want.
For your high concept, it's a phrase that sums up what your character is about, who he is, and what he does. Like your job, your role in life, or your calling. It's what you're good at, but it's also duty you have to deal with, and it's constantly filled with problems of its own. So it could be your job, or you could mash 2 jobs or roles together. You could play off an important relationship to your family or an organization. It's basically like the most
The most
important thing.
the
about
most
your
you
character.
thing.
Yeah, the most you thing.
So
Do you have an extra pencil over there?
Maybe.
None.
I mean, yes.
you just clicked it and nothing happened.
Yeah, look, there's nothing in here.
It
Right here,
works.
it's there.
Oh.
Okay, well,
I'm gonna ask one of you guys to start
think.
writing something down, and we can revisit these. I've had most of the characters I've had playing this after they wrote down their other aspects. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna rename this or make this something.
maybe
completely
just
different.
like unemployed tinkerer or something.
that has a lot of it's something that has
Some
connotations.
connotation to it that I can't hold down a job, but I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, like
What?
no.
What, Phil?
Nothing. Like
Are you happy with it? Does it please you?
I'm happy with that. I like that. That's fine by me because it has
Alright.
connotations.
How about ambitious pretender?
Ambitious pretender like.
Or are you
Like-
a pretender?
Well, I don't know, but the thing is, since I my claim has nothing to do with the planet I'm on, that's
Yeah.
how I'm gonna be ultimately perceived if I ever
True.
invoke, you should listen to me.
You'll
you
probably
know?
be seen as crazy,
So
actually.
I think-
so it's like you believe in it, but
And so, I'm
are
very
you not-
driven.
Are you even you're not certain yourself?
No,
though, are you?
I'm not.
I think I like that. I think it could use even more text to it. So
Yeah.
ambitious pretender, that could be
Ambitious
some guy.
royal pretender.
Ambitious pretender to the Star Throne. Ambitious royal
The
pretender.
Star Throne, that's pretty badass.
All right, ambitious star throne or star.
Is it even a pretender per se?
Well,
Well,
I was trying to put the qualifier in there that could help it be perceived as a negative.
Like believes he
because
is.
like a pretender to the throne.
He's literally a pretender. He has no right to it.
Well, actually, I don't know. It's a little bit more complicated if you look at the
unsure royalty or something.
Forgotten heir.
Unknown royal something.
Lost.
No, I'm not lost.
Lost.
I've got my footing, man. I've got a direction.
Okay.
All right, let me keep thinking about the wording.
You got most of it down.
Yeah.
So Thomas, what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think, Thomas? Besides,
I think that I'm trying to like nail down like what powers I would have. Like, can I shoot fireballs?
you could do that.
Or do I have like
That's up to you, man.
telekinesis type powers?
How do you wanna do things?
So I guess we've already got one part. You want magic. So
I mean, yeah. Fantasy has all sorts of spectrums for magic. Like sometimes magic is limited to like you spend a day doing all these rituals and you can make it rain. Or the other end where you're just like whoosh, Kamehameha or something.
it could be like subtle mage of, or like.
You could just stick to like prestidigitation and things like that.
And
I'll maybe like psychic powers seems kind of cool. I don't know if it's like
That's fine.
I mean,
controlling things psychically or like reading people's minds.
There's lots of
spectrums.
There's
Or
lots of
seeing
implications.
I
There's
don't know.
lots of implications for
seeing
psych.
the future. That's pretty cool.
That messes with the DM a lot.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Tell me what happens in this room
Oh
in 3
my
days.
Oh my god.
What was this object doing
Yeah.
400
I
years
assume,
ago?
I assume it wouldn't be like on command. It would be like I might get flashes of insight.
Okay, so that's interesting.
Well, that's good. You also want to be able to. I assume you want to make proactive use of it too, though. Like,
All right. Unknown
I'll
royal
think
he
about
might
it.
not
I'll
be
think about it
able
a little
to.
bit.
Maybe you're not able to.
Maybe I learn how.
That's what I'm going with.
What was this?
Unknown royal claimant. A claimant is somebody who they're gonna they press their claim. It may or may not be legitimate. I'm searching for my identity. That's what the unknown is. But the fact that I'm convinced of the royal aspect influences a little bit of my bearing towards others, my motivation, leadership skills.
Okay.
There's a lot, and I'm gonna assess. Sometimes I'm really gonna assert that claim, and I'm gonna earn that fate point. All right.
Okay. That's fine. Fine.
All right. So I'm gonna work on. So you want us to fill in the rest of our aspects for now?
At most, the trouble. Don't touch the other ones yet.
Oh, trouble. Okay.
Trouble. Yeah. The
All
bottom
right.
three we'll talk about.
So, well, I'll let Thomas.
Yeah, I think we should keep it together.
I don't know if I don't need to be
You could
super
just be-
specific right now.
You could just be like discovering what you could do.
Yeah.
Appropriate
don't-
for a starting
Yeah,
character.
you might not
yeah.
have full
And
knowledge of
we
all the
can
things you
rename
do.
these aspects later
Yeah,
in the
they
game.
can change.
Basically,
I guess
if
I'm
you
trying
can
to think
justify
about. I'm trying to think
story-wise.
about how it can be both positive and a negative, unless
well,
it's maybe already
it could
been
be
happening.
like taboo. Maybe this magic you have is known about, but it's
similar
very
to my little piece of technology that I have.
I don't want
I
to
know how to do a
frowned
few
upon,
tricks
or
with it,
like
but
there's
I have
paranoia around
no
it.
idea what it is.
Or-
maybe
or
like
maybe
people
there's-
don't
like a
trust it, or
nuclear
people
device.
like
Yeah,
are
it could like
mistrustful.
shape a
Or maybe it
planet
could be like
eventually.
you're like
yeah, so
you're like
yeah.
a sorcerer of whatever
But it's like
whatever social group, and maybe you can get out of that. There's another social group that's against you for that. Maybe they have similar powers.
it's
like
my tangible
maybe
link
your clan
that
when they
keeps
came
me
in
going
split
with
or
this,
something
because
like
you know I
that.
have this
That has a lot of-
fantastic, like,
has negative
only
connotations
only
that
an
people would be-
emperor or a
right,
king
right,
could
right.
yeah
could
so,
complicate
yeah.
your life. Could be like uncertain sorcerer of. Well, I don't want to make you uncertain.
Because I'm already
He's
unknown.
uncertain.
We're all just.
I'm just
Employed,
gonna.
unknown.
I'm just gonna write
uncertain.
down known skull.
No, don't
That
do
maybe, dude. Maybe the skulls are like.
God,
maybe
it
that's
sounds
what
like
they.
such a gang of.
Maybe
hoodlums.
that's what they call your kind.
Skulls.
Skulls.
You
I'm a-
goddamn skulls.
You're a known skull, aren't
Yeah.
You,
Damn
you
you.
notoriously played a game with 4 skull cards, and eventually they caught on.
Maybe there are. Maybe the group of yous has notoriety in some way, and being a known skull. Like maybe it's not actually a bad thing, but people perceive it to be.
I feel like maybe it could
nice
be just
inside
like
joke. Yep.
general distrust. People don't like people with these powers because like,
Yeah,
would
that's-
you like someone that can read your mind
No.
or something?
That's bleeding more into trouble, I think.
Yeah, that is. A bit. Well, I mean, like,
I'm trying to see
having
I'm
magic,
trying to see
that
a
could be
downside to having the powers. That's just what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, that
Yeah.
could be an easy downside.
Can I say like emerging psychic powers, something?
Emerging psychic, emerging mystic.
Or something with unpredictable, or I don't know.
Unpredictable or uncontrollable.
Yeah.
Ooh, uncontrollable
I-
sounds really scary.
I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be something
I'm sorry, your face.
Sorry.
like random memory loss.
Brain
Really
just
big
melting.
McLarge huge's death right
Like
there.
Alzheimer's is uncontrollable. You don't want that.
Oh, Ren
But-
gave a good.
Semi-controllable.
Ren gave a good idea.
Oh, what did he say?
Magic could have a negative effect on technology.
Ooh, that would be
How
like
how
just
so?
fucks with it like an EMP or maybe
Yeah, maybe
or
have,
maybe
like,
it
a little
makes it
EMP.
does bad shit.
drains
like,
it drains like the power source
Yeah.
from
So
And-
it.
like that,
and
I mean,
using
like,
it-
I couldn't use it.
no, it'd be like if you used it
Just
like maybe
troublesome
It would
thing.
Ma-
fuck with some.
like
yeah.
making a
It's not
glowing
like you're-
butterfly like starts making shit sort of like semi fail around you, and then if people are like, oh shit, where's the mage?
Yeah, there you go. Then
You
it's
know,
like a signal. That
I mean, like
there's
anytime you
somebody
try to do
nearby.
something
like
good
a
with it, it
noise.
would immediately sort of bring maybe not from superstition, but just through practicality,
Like
the
a
ire
noise.
of others.
Yeah.
Right.
It could be like, yeah,
That's a good idea.
That sounds like it might be like a trouble.
well.
Would it be? Or is it just all
It
part of
depends on how
powers?
much we tone it up or down, what we
Yeah.
decide on the negative aspect of that.
I mean, on the one hand, it's the source of your power, your high aspect. Like you're describing your abilities,
What makes you
but
you the
you're
most.
you're adding the caveat that it's not something you have complete mastery over,
Yeah.
and it
You're-
has some.
Okay,
weird-
that's what I'm
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna say emerging. So it's not uncontrollable, but it's like I don't know how to do
Emerging
it.
And sometimes
even-
it might crap out on
Yeah.
you when
And
you like,
emerging
he's like,
has-
here you go, emerging.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Emerging
yeah.
psychic powers. That's
All right.
I would say yes, that's fine. I wouldn't say like powers as a high concept, but just like emerging psychic. Like this is like
What's the difference?
like you would write known skull, not known skull powers, like it's like a title almost.
it's a
a
title?
descriptor of you kind of.
Okay.
Or it could just be that too. I don't want to it's not too
It
important.
really means the same thing.
It means the same thing. Okay, so we're gonna go on to troubles then.
Yeah. So trouble can either be a personal, like a personality thing, a flaw in your character, such as alcoholism or so on and so forth, or it could be sort of an external trouble, like on the run from the mafia or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe you just have a friend who drags you into trouble all the time, or
God damn
this should be.
I don't want Golg
As your trouble.
as my buddy.
It's your
Yeah,
Go.
God. I already did that.
I know.
I already did
Okay,
that.
I wanna-
It's like you gotta take out the trash.
I've played
I want to
that
say
Golg.
this won't be a trouble that you can easily solve, at least
Right.
not within, like maybe a few, maybe if many sessions down the road it'll go away completely, or maybe it'll rename sometime doing that. So yeah, just like troublesome brother, if
So
if
is
you're
it like
inclined
an
to kill him, then it's
external-
not really.
Like an external thing?
It could be external or internal. So it could be like, I've got an eye for shiny things, or maybe
I mean-
like sucker for a pretty face, like dang it, I have to help them.
Oh. Or femme fatale.
Yeah.
She will
Or
destroy you.
I mean, I like the idea.
got a bad
of
rep.
Doug pissing off the Megacorp.
He's on the Megacorp's watch
sends-
list.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
On the watch list. It would make sense as a tinker,
Criminal sin.
although you don't want to get it too close to. I don't know how much I can't infer that they're like we have all the technology, no tinkerers. So I wouldn't say. anything
Well,
like that.
no.
No. So. Yeah,
I mean,
I think.
obviously, I'm bleeding into Shadowrun a bit.
Yeah.
So, Gug is less than lawful on occasion. Having a positive part of the trouble is
Okay, so
the
yeah, we
trickiest
haven't really
part.
Is
touched
there
the
supposed to be a
positive.
positive
So I mean,
part
like
to
say like you're on the run from the mafia, and that's your trouble. Sometime you might come into a situation where it's like all your party's like, man, we've never dealt with armed guards, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, because of my experience with the mafia, I can
Right.
I can spend this fate point related to that aspect and invoke that aspect because it gave me some like dealing with that trouble has taught you over the years a new set of skills.
How does
Okay.
power hungry sound for a trouble?
I would say power hungry for something specific.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
elaborate
want
a
it
little
to be
bit.
too vague with your
Okay.
trouble.
Trouble just says gold.
Gold.
Yep.
He has a trouble.
That's more than enough trouble. Yep.
As a general question, how do we feel about computers?
I think computers should
Like
be
Star
here.
Wars computers are really kind of just
They're just like
they're just whatever.
Like
Yeah.
1980s Windows.
1970s
I mean-
stuff.
I'm most likely going to throw in a technology skill on top of the default skill list that I've given
Okay.
you guys, because otherwise there's just no. And probably also maybe a.
I feel like similar.
I like the idea of having a network, having communication. Computers are a good way to channel
similar
that.
to modern day.
It's hard to justify not having an internet if all this technology is coming through, unless
Yeah.
the states,
like-
unless the world's not always stable in terms of
Computers-
geopolitical relations.
Computers house tons of digital media. Like, you know, you can look up things. There's
So-
archives.
So how advanced do we want that? Do
Um,
we want it today level computers, or do we want it like there's other fantastical technology
I
coming
think-
in, but maybe not
I think
exclusively computers?
You could have it a little bit more advanced than today, so
Yeah.
that's not just like an Earth clone on a different setting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since you know you can go more advanced a little bit in time and still be way away from interstellar
Yeah,
travel.
yeah.
So
We could have like a. Shit. Oh, shit. I mean, like
Should've been
halfway
fucking
between
with
here and
it.
Shadowrun, are you thinking, or just like 2020 level?
I mean, you know me, I love Shadow.
Just like becomes we're
You
playing
hear that
Shadowrun
music?
Play
Friday.
Shadowrun with some portals.
nice.
No,
I was gonna
they're
say,
not-
I
they're
don't
not that
I don't
far.
like the super advanced where like
Yeah.
everything is
It's
related
sort of
to
at some
everything's
point it
electronic.
restricts. Like
Yeah.
you can have it maybe where there is advanced computer technology, but it's not in the hands of everybody. Like
Yeah, I like the idea.
like,
that
oh,
some
hey.
people know their shit when computers, but everyone else is just.
it's
like,
just
I
like
don't
oh,
know.
it's
Yeah.
like oh look how advanced that computer is. They don't
Yeah.
those haven't been made in 10 years because of whatever. You know.
Yeah, I like that's interesting. The idea of like
Silicon drop.
computers that aren't as user friendly as they are in our
Right.
Or
current world.
I mean, they could be like, you could have a lot of normal computers, but maybe the really good ones are like artifacts.
And, like,
Yeah.
nobody ever developed a
Geomod
or anything.
technology.
Someone-
It's all
No one
just
developed-
done in text.
no one developed a what?
A GUI.
GUI. Yeah, you know, like it's. Yeah, I like that idea where it's computers advanced in a different way where it
Yeah.
isn't user friendly
Very
and
pragmatic.
Maybe it's not like for everybody.
Right.
not for
like that.
everybody. Not
Like you have a
won't be able to
community,
find them everywhere.
Like it's like a library. Oh, I'm gonna go to the computer today.
Yeah, because I don't really want this character to just be like a hacker. I'd prefer him to be more of a tinker, but I want him to have knowledge of how computers work. So I'm thinking maybe like hacked the Megacorp, but failed or got
Yeah.
caught or something
Yeah.
like that.
Maybe
So I'm on file.
You've been tagged.
Maybe like general technology is around the 80s, but then there's like all this or whatever era, and then
Yeah.
but there's pieces of these,
Yeah, I like that.
so that can give some clues into that. But back to the trouble.
Calc is Mr. Robot. God.
You are Mr. just hacker, taking down Megacorp, Evil Corp.
I mean, I like Infamous, but Cyber Terrorist, that's just a bit too much in that direction. So,
Sean, what do you?
I'm trying to refine
Okay.
your suggestion.
Got any thoughts, Thomas? For trouble? It could. I mean, it doesn't have to be like. It's not the end of the world one way or another. You could just think of.
Infamous is good because I could see that being used both ways.
I mean, if you want to like say, if you want it to be a trouble like personal, then there's a lot of ways to do that.
Like so. It's
If you want it to trouble with a group of people or a certain person, you could make one up, and we'll weave it into the whole world too.
I mean, I guess the only thing I was kind of thinking of, like, so, like, where, you know, maybe you have these powers, but you're like, oh, like, what's with that guy? Or, like, you have the disrupts technology, so it's kind of like, I don't know if it's just, like,
And those
looked down upon, or, like,
and those two we can pull out of.
try to, like, hide the powers, or, like, don't really, I don't know.
I know what I want, I just don't know how to word it.
I would say.
What if I was
I would say it
possessed
might
by
be
an alien
beneficial for
spirit?
you to just
Holy shit.
That's a trouble.
have something completely
Yeah.
separate from your powers, because those we can sort of infer from your powers
Would you
too.
Okay,
have
that,
any
yeah, then it
awareness
wouldn't
of
have to
this?
be,
Like maybe it comes and goes,
Ooh, that
and
is
like
cool.
whenever that guy comes out,
Just think of what
you like.
what's something that might have happened in your life at some
That's
point.
big trouble.
It
that
is.
Sort of
It's very
caused
fun
you
trouble.
problems.
It is fun.
Yeah.
that's the problem, I don't know
But
what
does it
I'm
make you at all
want to do as
trustworthy?
character, just, like,
Like how is
Or
this
I
like
don't know
Dr.
what
Jekyll and
drives me.
Mr. Hyde?
Well,
Well-
this will help.
I'd like to think
No,
that
you're trying. I guess.
I'd still play.
Think of
that,
something negative
Okay.
that
Hard-
could happen to anyone.
But then, like, I'd have to
Anything
kind of like
negative.
decide
they could
what
have,
how his motivation,
you know,
and stuff would be
personally
different.
or
and then
relationally.
if he only came out
Like-
when Phil
like
was
Land-
like, okay, time for
it could be
you
something
know,
simple too.
Xeraxis or
Like,
whatever his name
Landon,
is. It's like
Landon's
he's coming
trouble
out
is
now,
the
it's
manners
like-
of a goat. That's
I kinda
very
like that.
simple.
I
Like,
like-
he
alright.
puts his foot in his mouth whenever he can, more or less, when the GM wants him to.
and I'm sure he's connected to that.
So I mean, it
artifact,
doesn't
I
have to
hope.
be something
absolutely.
profound.
Okay, cool.
You know,
Maybe
it could be
that's
something.
how
It
it
could be a
Phil?
silly
entered you.
trouble.
I'm just trying to think.
My trouble is possessed by an alien spirit.
Possessed by an alien
Yep.
spirit.
So he's gonna come out
Holy
when
moly.
you decide to. And I'm working.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yep, and I'm gonna work on.
Possessed.
I might actually privately tell you like what he's all about, because I don't want you to like control the character when he
No.
comes out. I'd like to still be able to do that.
If I do compel him, it'll trying to think of.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not gonna.
What about-
I'm just gonna tell you if you allow me to have this, I'm not gonna have his persona be kill everything in sight or something
I
like
don't-
quite that drastic.
If it's your trouble too, like I don't want it to be like I don't want it to like monopolize your character. Either.
Yeah.
Or what about like dormant alien spirit or something? So it's not like you're
But if it's
possessed
dormant,
by,
then
are you
it could-
possessed by a foreign creature, or is it like you're just
If
remembering
it's dormant,
things?
it's
Like-
not much of a trouble.
I'm thinking it's housed in my consciousness somewhere, and I don't understand fully how it works. And it's probably connected to that piece of technology I have, and so
Space ghost in my brain.
yeah, or maybe it's
Space
maybe
ghost.
it's actually connected to that piece of technology I use, and when I
Maybe.
use it
Just
too
like
much,
just slowly like
let-
in your brain.
or just like the more I use it, the higher chance I'm gonna become whoever he is for a bit, and then pop back. So
okay, it's sort of a hidden.
I like the idea of it, so I'm gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna
Okay.
let you know all about this guy.
and if
so,
it turns out to be problematic or anything, we can always just do something else.
have
with
an
it.
exorcism, and then I get
Yeah,
in new trouble.
pretty much.
Sure.
I feel like infamous terrorist for hire is just a big fuck you to Phil.
Well, I mean, it's fine.
I don't
but
know.
I don't,
I'm trying to start
I
an
wanna- I wanna-
empire, and
a
I've got
trouble
this
that you
idea.
could eventually might go away. But I also don't want it to be I want it to be a trouble, not like a
Yeah.
crucifixion.
Right.
So
Well,
I think I have an idea.
I mean, I guess I know what I know what I want. I want to be on the Megacorp's hit list.
yes,
I want that.
Well, that could just be your trouble on the Megacorp's hit list.
Okay, but what's the positive side of that?
You know a lot about the Megacorp, and you know a lot about evading them. You know a lot
Okay,
about their
I've-
infrastructure.
I've
that
been
they've laid
inside
down.
that shit.
You've been inside.
All right, all right.
You've been hot simming in there.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like.
Well, actually, I have an idea. It's kind of related to my powers, but I was saying like perhaps like compulsive gambler.
Compulsive
Because
gambler.
like I
that's-
have these like insights, whatever. Like I tend to be lucky. Well, that's not trouble at all. But I feel like I tend to be lucky, so like I like tend to gamble. Like, oh, of course I'm gonna win. Like I just
Yeah, and
like
like
know things.
compulsive gambler in that you could easily be using your power to assist that. And
But
that
maybe it
has the
doesn't work
nega-
all the time, so maybe I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, it's only when you might be. But also, I mean, there's a lot of negatives that can be with compulsive gambler. Even if you do, have good luck. If you're cheated or something, basically you're probably going to be in debt a lot. You might have people after you for being a compulsive gambler from years ago or another when you jumped out on a gambling debt or something. A compulsive gambler, I think, is a very, very nice. It's very applicable to a lot of things, and you can have positives from it too.
Yeah.
Because you will be able to recognize a lot
Know
of
about
sleight of
gambling.
hand. You'll know about gambling. You'll know about games of chance.
Yeah.
You'll have it could imply good, good poker face sort of things. You
What
know.
are
Alright,
what were you
alright.
intending to use these for?
Those are going to be for your next 3 aspects.
Okay.
Ren said for you to make it like a symbiotic life form, like Venom.
Okay. Maybe I'll consider that.
Hidden symbiote. Yeah. Its true nature doesn't need to be revealed at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it just crawled
Okay,
into
so-
your brain.
Looks like
It
you.
could be. It could be an actual organism. Could be something.
Yeah, a bit
Different.
more mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got all our first 2 aspects, and now we're going to get into the real meat and bones of your storytelling a little bit, at least regarding each other, and that
Yep.
is your next 3 aspects. So the first of these 3, you'll notice you all have 3
Yep.
note cards here.
Yep.
2, 3.
If you have an extra one, I could use that for my tell you about my spirit,
It's open. Yeah.
like Samuel Jackson, the spirit.
Okay.
Oh god.
Samuel
It won't be anything like that.
motherfucker!
With these motherfucking portals on this motherfucking
Fucking planet.
So this
He
first
jumps through.
This first
Yeah.
one, before you write an aspect for your 3rd aspect, I'm going to want you to write a story about yourself, something that's happened to you. in your life. It could be
My life, Phil?
Yeah.
You want to know about
No,
me a little
in here.
bit?
Is it a life story or one
No,
event?
not a life story,
Is it
but
one event?
it could be
very
in the book,
telling
it says
events.
it's your first adventure.
your first adventure. So an adventure that you went on in the
first
past,
adventure.
ambiguously in the past, not strictly
kind
10 years, 1 year, or anything like that.
It says to make it recent, or at least recent
enough
enough that
that-
we know each other.
Because
Okay.
what's going to
Because we're
happen?
going to work each other.
What's going to happen is on this first index card, you're going to write an
It's going
adventure.
to become canon for all
It's-
three of us.
Yes,
Each
and you're going to write
person's
adventure.
card.
You're going to glean out of this adventure one aspect that you're going to write on your
Right.
card, something that you can compel, invoke, and
Oh
then
my God.
then everybody's going to pass your adventure to the left,
Uh-huh.
and somebody else with their index card, they're going to write how they interacted before, after, or during that adventure.
Okay, so we're not actually supposed to be writing about the other people's
No,
actions.
it's just you.
No, they'll be writing.
And they're supporting you.
they're
in
going to
some
become supporting roles in your adventure.
Okay.
Basically, each of you will interact with each other's
Okay.
adventures. But this first one,
It's tough. I mean, is it like, are we using all this? Is it just kind of like brainstorming?
no, you're gonna be. This is going to be your character background, more or less.
Yeah, you're.
I was trying to think, so like, how do we have to be careful, like, to do something that everyone could possibly be in?
It's easy to do that because I mean as long as it's not like when I was 2 years old,
Yeah.
you know,
We'll
like
work our way in.
Yeah.
I'll write some shit. Don't worry.
I mean, when
Guns
you
all
get
involved.
when you
Guns
get
always
his
got a
story,
drone
like
above
and you're like, wow, he's got
somewhere.
this is really specific and stuff. You can just shoehorn your way in,
Alright.
you know, as long as it's
I
not
need
like
to actually
and then
think
like
of my character's
I killed
name
his mother.
right now. Actually,
I mean, this is
He's-
pretty.
he
Oh
knows
yeah,
his character's
I think
name.
before
I need to- I
we
need
should
to-
write down
yeah.
character names
Alright.
before we dwell into these.
I mean, this is pretty obvious, but we got guns and explosives out the ass, right, in this world.
I think maybe
Or at
like
least
high-powered
I don't see why
explosives
not.
aren't like, here I got your explosives
Well,
here.
okay.
they never are.
No.
Because if they are, no society would ever survive.
Yeah.
So
Not if guns
If
has
it's a
his
modern
word.
society,
Maybe,
I would
more
say
or
that
less modern.
more or
Okay.
less modern. There's going to be guns that you can find. There's going to
Good.
I don't want to make it a gang turf war sort of thing where there's
No.
But yeah,
Kids with the AK-47s.
with AKs. Yeah, there will be guns.
It doesn't have to be a long story,
No, I mean this might last a long
but
time.
you do
might
have to
last short.
derive an aspect from whatever you
Yeah,
write.
so basically,
Oh,
you don't have to think
yes.
about your aspect
A
while
new
you're
one?
writing it.
Or could it be one that we already have?
You have to derive an aspect out
A
of your
new
story.
one?
A new aspect. You're
Oh
gonna
my
have
God.
5 total aspects, Tom.
So
Great.
many things.
It-
Work in your
the-
brain.
The original Fate, like
it
back,
does.
Your original
back,
fate had like 10.
back before
God.
before the original Fate, like they're like, here, write 7 to 9 aspects.
Yeah.
So
And they're all supposed to be somewhat unrelated.
more or less, well, you could have some that are like related, but not like that are central to each other.
So
like,
I'm not sure if you write the story first,
You write the
or
s-
you come up with the aspect in your head and write a story that works.
I think I find it. I always found it easier to write the story first.
Okay.
Just making an interesting, just like
I just
some
have to like,
drama.
get my
in it.
head around the type of person this is. That's why I
You
don't,
gotta
I
think
don't
of
know
the
yet.
character.
Well, the thing
This,
is,
this can sort of define it. You don't have to.
for me, I know I want one of my aspects to describe that piece of tech I have, and so I'm kind of like leaning in for that as my first
That could
one.
be that like how you acquired it or something. You
The
know,
first time I used it
some
is
first
when
time
I was
maybe
thinking-
you'd had it for a while. First
Yeah.
time you used it.
What does that mean, Ren?
What did he
Yes.
say?
He said just play an episode of Hanging with Mang.
Oh,
Hanging with me. Get all the stories out of there you
I mean,
want.
there are
yeah.
plenty of stories.
I need like.
I guess I have the best idea of my character.
You could go with
Yes.
cliches too, like
He's very familiar.
you could think of me like if you want some sort of origin story, you can always make it that kind of story. You could make it, it could just be like this one time I was doing this one thing for money. I was doing this thing. You
Yes.
know, it was an adventure. Most likely the one of your formative ones. If but it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
Probably blew up some megacorp warehouse.
Just
Blew it up.
going ham on
Blew it up
that.
real good.
What kind of names are you going for? Are you going for like?
Oh, yeah, I would
alien
say- I'd
names,
say you guys should
human
throw down
names,
His name's
regular names.
Rufus
Whatever,
Sims.
whatever kind of
Big
name you want. I
Doug.
mean, there might be human
Yeah.
influences in here. Like heck, this is because of my unimaginativity. But when I was, running my last campaign, I was just naming guys Kevin and Steve, and it flowed fine.
I feel like the aspect I'm going to get out of this is overkill is underrated.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah.
Like, so we know you have gambling problems, and you're an emerging psychic. You could incorporate. I mean, it
If
could
I have a general idea for like story.
it could be related to either of both of those, and
Okay,
somehow
then-
clashing in a dramatic way.
I have an idea.
Something that changed. Well, it doesn't have to be something that changed your life. Just something that Something significant.
But
That's
the
happened.
problem is I don't have an idea for my name. That's what I'm stuck on.
What kind of name you want? You're gonna look up. We're gonna get a name random
Let's
generator.
get a name generator.
So that always
All right,
helps.
got my name.
What's your name?
Tyranderol.
Tyranderol.
Oh, that's very alien sounding.
Well, first name Tyr,
I think you've
last
got
name
that
Anderol.
parasite going on.
Here do you? Oh,
Yep.
like the God of War,
Was that his name?
the Norse God of War. Yeah, he's got one arm or one eye. I can't
All
remember
right,
which.
cool.
I was thinking of a somewhat alien name.
That's fine.
I don't have it in mind, but listen, like, I don't know.
Baranthalion. Gork. Any like dwarf name usually translates pretty well to an alien name.
My internet's broken.
Alien name generator. And this could be like 3 sentences. It could be.
I'm gonna
10
underline
sentences.
the key phrase that I'm writing as my aspect from the card.
That's fine.
I think that's kind of like a thing to do. It's like I use
well, you don't
my
have to explicitly mention your
alien technology. Okay. Yep.
Once I was a male gigolo and I knew Gug because he was a John.
How dare you, Ren? How dare you?
Alright.
I went to a dwarf one, and there's some interesting ones here.
Are you a dwarf?
No.
No.
Are you a goddamn dwarf?
No,
He
Good.
doesn't-
I'm
I just-
racist against dwarves.
I'm a humanish creature.
What's the name of the
I might
megacorp?
be a
Do we
purple
know yet?
man.
Megacorp.
I just wrote Megacorp, but that.
I mean, I could use it as a
That-
placeholder if I want to actually reference it in the
Do you
my
guys
little
want to
story.
name the Megacorp now?
We should
Let's
name the
do it.
megacorp.
Because
Xander Corporation.
Skynet,
It's always a nice.
Let's not do Skynet.
Okay.
Megacorp.
Zansky Corporation.
It should have like just a one-word name. I like that.
Oh, so we don't even have to use the word corporation.
No, we know. We know it's a corporation.
Yeah.
Xander.
No, and I don't feel. Xander
Xanax.
Corporation sounds better than just the one word. So I need to think of
Zantec.
Not Xantec. It sounds like a pill.
I think it is a
I think
pill.
it is.
Yeah.
Well, that Zyrtec is a pill.
And Zantac.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure. I think
Okay,
it's
we're not doing Xantec, Phil.
It should be
Something
It
that.
should be something vaguely evil sounding.
Well,
Yeah.
something that, but not directly.
Not
so
directly evil.
No.
You know,
Something Latin.
it
It's an ancient lost language.
Yeah.
they're called Bowflex.
Nope.
I made a swastika.
Well, you did make us.
it
Congratulations.
was accidental.
Well, that's Swastika Corp.
Accidental swastika.
Portec. Keep wanting to throw tech on
Ooh,
it.
that's an interesting name. I might be Portec.
Dude!
Portec the Brave.
Tetracorp.
Portax.
Tetracorp.
Portax.
It's like they have like 4 like branches of their thing.
Oh, like
It's
swastika.
like a swastika.
That's what
It's
inspired
gonna be
me,
shaped like just
actually.
like the fate dice.
Nobody would know what it means.
It's-
Tetracorp.
The swastikas has nothing to do in origin with the Nazi
It
party.
No, but it has a lot to do with connotation.
It does.
But not on this planet.
Mhm.
Not on this planet.
We could have a very. We don't have to decide what sort of symbol it has, but I like Tetracorp.
All right, I'm fine with that.
Tetracorp.
Tetracorp it is.
Yep. Like, imagine if they have like their 4 pillars as part of like their
It's our
their
founding
mission
principles.
statement,
Yeah.
or their 4 branches of technology. So you
Mine's
could
Tetracorp.
you can think of a 4-fold thing with
Yeah.
them.
I can. Portec.
Okay.
Portec.
I like Portec.
Portec. You have to spell it really cool though.
Got to have a K in there.
There
Yeah,
will
yeah.
be a K- a K at
there
the
must
end,
be.
of course.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess I'll just go with that.
I mean, otherwise you could get Kmugada, or Poecrix, or Olaf, or Zuafo.
I think I'm like I want to name it's like kind of interesting, but also
Do
like,
we
not
have
gonna be a
Earth
pain
elements?
to-
Like the same Earth name for elements
Oh,
on
I'm
this
sure.
planet.
I'm
so
just
like,
gonna assume
so like,
so.
Make it easier.
like
yeah.
aluminum could
yeah,
exist.
I'm not gonna
okay,
make a
all
whole
right.
dictionary.
But you
All
can
right.
also make up new stuff.
Yeah, maybe some flavoring of different names.
It doesn't have to be your first adventure, does it?
No, it could just be
Okay.
an
It
adventure.
could be like your
it,
fourth one or something.
yeah, like you know, just something that tells about you.
Yeah.
It's telling about you.
I am Portec.
Portec.
Portec the poor.
Portec. Lord of the Apes.
Is that your title?
Ape Lord.
Ape Lord. Ape Lord.
That's my
Ape
third
Lord.
aspect.
Yes.
Gorillas love me.
Won't be writing on the second ones yet.
Let's see.
Oh, you're starting over.
Yep. I'm gonna use this one later, I think.
Okay. What's something, some source of drama, something out of the
Perhaps-
ordinary you did, something adventurous, or maybe something normal.
Perhaps you won too much money from the wrong people.
Yeah. Just...
Does it have to be a full story, or is it just like the start of a story?
I'm gonna say at least 3 sentences.
Oh my god. It's like
You know, some stuff happened.
My problem is
What
going to be
happened
fitting
in
it
your
all on
story?
this note
Like,
card.
Portek was walking along one day. He went
Yeah.
into the gambling shop.
What do you think of that?
He
Read
pissed
it
off
and
some
weep.
people. Like stuff happened in it. Like, was there a chase in it?
'Cause they're not-
Was
When we
there...
pass these around, are we
was there
supposed to
fight-
leave enough room for people to add on to the
Oh
card
no, you're gonna
itself?
be adding it. You're gonna be passing a whole separate card. No, you're gonna be passing this card, and they'll take one of theirs cards, right away that they're
Yeah,
directing to the
okay.
story. So at least I would put like your initials on the back of each of your cards that you write on, though, just so you know, because they're gonna have to come back to you guys. But Gug was hired to retrieve a sealed case from a warehouse in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
After successfully breaking in, he realized it was a setup by Tetracorp.
God damn them!
Narrowly escaping, he left behind a large satchel of explosives, replacing the warehouse with a crater.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're hired like transporter, too, in a way.
I mean, I do.
He's
I
taking
do
many
odd
jobs.
Do
Yeah.
odd jobs.
Odd
Yeah.
He does what he has to
Yeah.
survive off the grid.
That goddamn Tetracorp. I'm no good at creating stories.
That's fine.
I just make them. I make them on the
Yeah,
table. That's
yeah.
where they happen.
Well, there will be many stories made. There will be stories. If you can even name like people in your story too, like, or just give some indication of specificity, that's even more fuel for the fire. Like, what happened? Why did it happen? What's something that came out of it?
I should have a name for the person that hired me. That's good, right?
That gives me
You
fuel.
love
That gives both of us fuel.
Yeah, some shady dude sold out to Tetracorp. Like some asshole.
Boris or Benny.
Benny. Benny!
Benny hired you out.
Okay.
He's like, oh God, I'm so glad to see you're still alive.
Yep.
Yeah, he'll be real happy to see you when he yeah,
Benny, you son of a bitch.
yeah.
Perfect.
And if you can find ways to be proactive in your stories too, that's always great. Like when you actively.
Oh, I was real
Yeah.
active. Real active, Phil.
But it can also be something where just something. I don't want it to just be something where something bad happens. Maybe you came out ahead in some way. In fact, that's best.
Maybe I have an alias.
Dude, that'd be awesome. Like maybe they call you by like, he's the.
I should write down my aspect.
Like, I wonder if Portek is my real name or my alias.
Could be.
Just the way I'm writing
you can
this.
put quotes around here, Portek, and then you put your actual name in there.
But I feel like if I have a made-up name, it would be cooler than Portek, even though Portek is a made-up name. It would be like the Destroyer.
Yeah, like a title like Protect, what Portek, like the
Jaws.
The Jaws. It's Portek Jaws. That they call you Jaws.
Like Jaws or
what is
Skull or just something.
This Portek, known
Protect the
skull.
skull.
Known skull.
Portek, comma, known skull.
What aspect? No justice, no peace.
You better, and it's
Fuck
got to be
the
something that
bullies.
you can. Oh, what weren't you thinking?
Overkill's underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could do that. Because it is.
Whatever you.
What's the negative of that?
What
would you compel?
you're
for
gonna
that?
overkill shit like.
Oh yeah. I
like-
guess I would.
You're gonna overkill shit.
And you seal the deal. Overkill is underrated, and then you keep pushing for more, or
That's good. Yeah.
or anything like that, where you just go over the top on it just because you want to make a
Yeah.
you want to make a point on it.
Such a good name for an aspect. I have to do it.
If you get stuck, we can always give you some group input too.
So I kind of have to start this. I'm just not sure what I should say is the total outcome.
Okay, well let's
So
You survive.
let's read it.
it says Portek won an impossible bet and made enemies with a shady organization who begrudgingly paid up a large sum of money but did not plan on being parted with it for long. So he had to move and lay low to escape their vengeance.
Okay.
So now I have a lot of money, but I'm like,
I would say, well, we haven't really
I don't-
discussed money in here. There's a skill called resources, which will represent vaguely your spending power, but maybe you lost that money again through some.
yeah, maybe I could lose it again. Or it's
I mean, maybe like as a part of this adventure, and like then
Stole it.
then some shit went down, and I had to pay out to get out of a situation,
Yeah.
or
like so I don't know if this would be like kind of like going right up to the end, or if other stuff happens. Or I could be like, I have a lot of money, but like I don't have anything else. Like I
think it's always gonna somewhat be left open.
yeah, we're gonna try to leave a lot open.
but a new identity and
Maybe you spent it to create a new. Well, maybe you did spend it to create a new identity. Or maybe. Maybe you were able to make a deal with it, another like semi-mafia or something to get.
that's I don't know how long I show it on Strat, or is it supposed to be like other people can add to it?
Well, they'll be able to add to it. Like they can just be like.
Okay, so I'll say like he has a lot of money, but had to leave behind his old life. Is that too open-ended?
He became Portek the Skull.
Became. Had it.
Protect the homeless.
Well, and then like
You had
it
money.
could
I do have
that
money,
could
so I
have
shouldn't
driven
be
you to a
homeless.
life
I'm
of
not
like
homeless.
could have like driven you to a life of like mercenaryism or something, where like in order to live you had to live
I'll
on
give you some work. Don't you worry.
like if you had to leave us behind your old life, you would be having to take some jobs that you
Or
normally
ag-
wouldn't.
that's interesting. Basically, he has a lot of money. Like lives as a drifter.
Like made you into like a drifter, like
Lives as a
For
drifter.
hire, like-
who does odd jobs here and there.
or maybe you have to keep paying somebody to keep quiet about your identity, which is where all that money's going. Like goddamn Artex, these son of a bitch.
Tetracore.
Yeah, yep, he's a higher up in he's like a low man at Tetracorp to keep you secret off the grid. Something like whatever you want to do.
I'm all over that grid. I live in that
Let
grid.
me see this here, Thomas. Okay, so Portek was impossible, but yep. Portek had to move and lay low to get the retribution. He has a lot of money now, but drifts from place to place. Okay, so for us to use this money, it'll like if you want to be able to use money in game, you'll probably have to take up one of your high skills as resources. But if you want to,
Maybe it could be lost in a future story. Like, are people adding on to this exact story?
yes. So maybe if
Like
you
a
guys are
string
willing to
continuation.
make
I
it lost
thought you
during,
could have something related to money as an aspect.
yeah. That would be. There's a skill called resources, which would
Yeah.
What about like unspendable money?
unspendable.
It's like I have no like
You got marked
I have no
dollars.
story behind this money. Like
May-
so like I can't just openly spend it all. but,
maybe
like, I have this
the
money
form of the
for-
money is like
and there's people
some
chasing
some
me for
special
it, so.
like
Marked
some special
bars.
marked bars of whatever, or like, and that could be a trouble for you in that
And I think especially with like this organization looking for it. I mean, I guess I don't know. I feel like that could be a positive and negative.
Yeah, I mean, like, you've got these, like, maybe it's not straight up normal currency that you've got from them, that you won from them. Then, like, if it is marked by them, like, I'm not sure right now.
Paid in space diamonds.
Space time.
Like it, and you're gonna want to draw an aspect out of here too, so I don't want it to be like I carry around space diamonds.
Yeah, it's weak.
I'm
I
gonna
wear space diamonds.
take a quick look at Sean's. The underground network I was building was set to meet in the local park at midnight. On my way there, I was jumped by a couple of thugs raring to shiv me. Oh,
Oh God, I was one of them.
I had never
Could've
felt
been.
more vulnerable, and as I braced myself, my alien tech cube transformed into a composite energy plate in my hand, deflecting the blow and freeing my body from shock. As I fought back, I never leave home without it. I was assaulted in the night at the park, going for his meetup.
Yep.
Maybe-
So the first time it transformed and became something useful, it was like an emotional response, really, that triggered it. And so I've been trying. It's like I want to try and figure out how to fully use it, and so that was like one of the early incidents when it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yep. I was like, wow, this thing is capable of such.
that's also got threads to build off of. Like, why didn't that go down so well? Why were there thugs there, raring to shiv you?
Yeah. I'm just trying to build an underground network,
I
man.
mean, somebody hired me, man. It's nothing personal.
Yeah, it's nothing
Not
personal.
personal.
Yeah.
Thomas, you writing a novel over there, man?
Marked money. Oh yeah, it doesn't have to be about the money
So-
too. I mean, you could take like your drifter aspect out of that too.
All right, I guess it could go either way. Could there be two aspects out of this
You
story?
No.
you could have one aspect that represents both. So like you're a marked drifter or
A known drifter.
known skull. Maybe
Because I figured the marked money was maybe kind of both. Because like so, it's like I have these
We-
resources, but I can't. But it's also like if I spend too much of it, maybe I draw suspicion, and this organization will find
Like,
me or something, or
yeah.
I don't know.
You want
I want
that
something
you're
to
gonna
you, that you'll stay
invoke.
around. Yeah, so something that you'll be able to like. You could say you're invoking it by like I spend the money to like invoke this aspect. But that's also like
It's very limited.
it's limited.
Okay.
But I would say that I like your story a lot. I think we could find a different aspect out of there, like something that says something as to your personal situation besides what you're carrying. Like that's like an object you
Okay.
have is the marked one. An easy one is I don't want to say bad rep with whatever group that sounds like a trouble. But you did mention you're a drifter out of there now, right? Sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, like a what drifter? Drifter with
Drifter with a heart of gold.
And a pocket full of gold.
That's a long aspect.
Full of gold.
I mean, you could relate it to kind of like.
Your body is full of gold. Like you said.
I mean, you should be dead, but you're still keeping on.
Borrowed time. No, just kidding.
Like something to your tenacity or elusiveness, something like that.
Maybe elusive.
elusive drifter.
Elusive drifter.
I mean, that has good connotations. It's
Yeah.
got you can have negative and positive out
Yeah,
of
like,
that.
so like
'Cause
like you can't stay in one place for too long, but you're also like able to like
You're really
slip
good at
away from
blending in
things
with
and-
things and slipping away from danger. It's like, where'd that guy go? He's right in this hallway. I don't know, man. He's
elusive.
elusive.
an illusionist.
You could use that as that could be part of your magic too.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we all have these first three,
Yeah.
right? Make sure you have like something written on the back to note that's you, like Gug. You wrote
Dude,
Gug.
I know this is me.
I started with
I mean,
Portec.
We're gonna be
okay.
past. We're gonna have
I
like
see.
9 of these things with stories on them, so
Yeah.
it'll be a bit difficult.
Okay.
Good.
And then everybody past your left.
Okay.
Good.
and take one of your other index cards, and on this second index card, you'll write away that you interacted with this person in their story, before the story, after the story, related to their story.
Okay.
And by your interacted with, I don't meant I sold him an apple and he went on his way. I mean something that you guys recognize each other and it built something with you, between you.
Should we
You could
discuss this at all, or should we just write?
I like it best when it's just writing, but it's how you guys want to deal with it. If you guys want to plan something up with it, that's fine. A good indication.
I kind of like the just writing thing.
Yeah,
too.
because it'll rather than hive minding it, you'll sort of get a new
Yeah.
surprise.
Yeah.
So it could be how you assisted with their situation, how you complicated their situation, or how you did maybe both. You both complicated and assisted with their situation, or you just in some way that you interact with them in there, like. And you can take this as improv as you like Mang was saying, like, I was one of those people who stabbed you. You know, it's just like it's like I was not expecting this random NPC in my story to be this guy. So don't feel bad about molesting his story because it's fine.
I would have molested. Can't stop me.
Maybe you assist in driving those thugs off. Maybe.
So do we get an aspect from?
You'll be drawing
this?
an aspect for yourself from this.
Yeah,
story.
right.
And if you're
What was the underground network that you're building? What is it for? What does it do?
I want supporters. I
Share
think
claim?
I am destined to rule. So yep.
maybe like-minded people who believe about
And
worlds
but
outside
I'm not
here.
stupid enough to think that the Tetracorp is just going to allow this prince to start amassing power. So that it had to be kind of underground movement.
And if you're having a hard time inserting yourself directly into the story, you can just take something out of the story, like his device, and think how maybe
you can interact with any single aspect,
like before or after,
Right.
too, like maybe
Okay.
he was getting into maybe he knew it was something he didn't know what, and like you assisted him, like, oh, I'll call my good friend Portec. Or you could have swept to the rescue. You could have. I'll let you mull on it.
I was about to shiv him.
It's just like they okay.
You
They
were
both
the
of
two
them.
thugs.
I was trying to pay off a debt. I was like, I need money.
Yeah.
That wouldn't help us
I
become
want
party members.
I want these to help you become
Okay.
closer, because I've had very bad things happen with my players when they did it to become farther from each other. It's just that sort of why are we together again thing. Could be you already knew him prior to this. Could be the first moment you meet him and you build, like, these are the foundations of your relationship, more or less.
Alright, I have an idea. It's all in the brainberry.
The brain.
Let me know what you think of that, Phil.
This is inserting into
Give it a cursory glance.
It's a good way to get rid of that.
Yeah,
To solve that problem.
I'm thinking like
You guys like partnered up, just like, oh, I gotta get this done.
yeah. I mean, it's useless to him.
But I mean, you've got probably some connections in some sort of way, or you know how to,
But
or you know
I
how to use
burn a
it
lot of
elsewhere.
bridges, as I just did there.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking like betrayal. That'll cost you.
Aren't you the one betraying, though?
I know.
So what would this mean to you? Betrayal that'll cost you. What would that mean to your
So
character?
I'm untrustworthy, and I care about money more than anything. I care about money more than allegiances.
I was about to write loyalty is everything. That's interesting.
It doesn't
So
paint-
so much so that you'll sell out your party members.
Potentially. Which doesn't paint Gug in the best light.
Now, why would... So you basically betrayed the organization on just a whim for this more money, more or less.
Yes. Well, I said I was already sour on them because of other
Already
shit
sour.
they pulled. They didn't appreciate me, Phil.
Okay.
Phil, they didn't appreciate me.
And
I'm telling
appreciate the
you.
Gug.
You gotta appreciate the Gug.
Okay, I very much like this story.
Tell me something.
I'm not entirely comfortable with the just greed is as an aspect. More or
Greed
less.
is good.
Just
Okay, tell me an aspect.
no.
I'm
What
open.
what good
I'm
what
listening. I'm
what
putting
good?
on receive, man.
Okay, what I guess like let's consider what your aspect is that you want to have this. I want money. Money's more important than allegiance. Is more or less
Well,
what you're going with.
I'm not saying that's
Well,
a great thing.
well, yeah, I know.
The gist of it is Gug is a greedy individual.
Greedy individual.
So, how do you put that in a positive light? Then?
Yeah, that's the question. Like, there's easy negatives. You burning bridges,
Yeah.
betrayals.
Right.
I mean, the
I
positives
think
like
of nothing
I
good.
made a trouble. I made another trouble.
other than that, like you
Good at burning
tend to
bridges.
get a lot, maybe. Good at getting stuff.
I
Work
feel like
hard for stuff. I don't know.
I don't hate it. I could see potential for it to have side effects where it splits the party more. Like, there's always that one guy in the party who steals all the loot and doesn't tell anyone.
Okay. Well, I guess Gug is not that just fickle over just money,
Yeah.
I mean, if it was just completely a neutral situation, no, he probably would have done the
I
job.
mean, you could easily. One of the things that I took
But he
out of it,
saw that they fucked over this dude.
I think, yeah, I took out of this story. I guess one of the most personal things to take out is that being sour on the organization caused you to turn against them
Right.
for your own gain,
Yeah.
and seeing somebody with similar
Yeah.
who is screwed by them. So what can we get out of that? I
Don't
wonder.
fuck me over.
No time for fuckery. But at the same time, I don't want to drive you away from the money aspect of it too.
No.
Like the
Like,
sort of
what about,
personal
like,
greed.
Shrewd negotiator or something. So like your greed drives you to like be really
I'm
good at like
uncouth.
making deals,
So I'm not a
but
negotiator
you're also
at all.
uncouth.
I'm not a negotiator. Fighting fire with fire or something.
Fiery businessman. Business is business unless you're a dick.
Yeah. This isn't personal, unless it is. But that's pretty broad.
That's a bit vague. Yeah.
Damn.
Look,
You'd think it would be easy.
you would think that he's like, oh, I'm just gonna be this kind of guy. And
Yeah.
Ah. Maybe like you're willing to burn bridges, but make better ones, or make more personal ones. I want to say for money.
Yeah.
Oh shit! What do you got, Thomas?
I'm gonna say I think like I have like a reason why I know him, but I don't know if this brings out an aspect.
Let me see. Let me take a peek.
So
Look, see.
basically, so he was being
Good Samaritan for money.
Good Samaritan for money.
Yeah.
So does that mean
he'll help people for money.
Yeah. So,
Like he won't murder babies for money, but he'll help
Right.
people for money.
if the price is right, sure, I guess I'll help you.
Poor Tech witnessed Tyr use his alien cube was
Your
was
handwriting must really suck.
and was compelled to meet him. Oh, so you saw him?
So I was gonna say, like, he was getting mugged. So I was like, oh, what? I saw that happen as an alien. I was like, what is
Yeah,
that?
what a thing to
They
witness.
found
was-
common
Yeah.
ground in their unusual abilities, so you like met up with like, hey, you're pretty cool. Portek
I was
is
probably convinced you're from some royal ancestry or some noble wizard race or something, so I'm probably very interested
Yeah,
by you.
we're both
Yeah.
probably like see something in each other that isn't
Yeah.
what they think it is.
Uh-huh.
Portek is skeptical of the legitimacy of Tyr's royal claim, but
Oh,
he believes
no.
he has great potential and gets a feeling that he has an important role to play. Ooh, that's kind of mystical too.
Yeah, so I don't know if if that kind
Oh.
of draws into the psychic powers. Like, I don't know if it's like I directly see something or if it's just
You kind of got
just kind of get a feeling.
like
I don't know.
an eye for opportunity, or well, that's never negative. Well, so I guess we could add.
Yeah, like, what
Is
about, like-
there the possibility of adding more so that there could be more that you did besides just, well,
Meet
besides
him.
meeting him and deciding to be friends? Like, can you insert what sort of drama?
Yeah, like
That-
another
that's
another
what's
event.
missing. There's an event of drama missing here, is all. Like maybe then you helped him find those thugs because you can. You're that kind of person who can find people, you know, with your abilities or something, or maybe you know something about them and like you can add on to, you know, sort of a story going where you
You
assist
went-
him in some way to, you know, to gain rapport
To
with him.
exact vigilante justice.
Yeah, you know, like I want this guy to trust me because I've got faith in him, sort of thing. Or so you did something in his favor, or maybe you were related to those thugs in some way. Some sort of insertion of drama. Oh yeah, what are you still thinking?
I don't know, man. I don't know what to do.
I do like the Good Samaritan for money. At the same time, I do feel like it's
Samaritan,
missing some of,
Samaritan for hire.
yeah. I think if we could include like that fed up with, you know, there's, you know, your relations with this organization, that it could be even spicier.
I mean,
It doesn't have to be.
yeah.
I mean, we can always draw more out of this later too. I mean, like if we've got a general idea of what it means.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you had some clues, Thomas, about the group he was putting together, or, you know, trying to.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide
together.
like if I'm like helping him do this now. Like, are we on the same mission?
Well, it could
But I don't know if like that fits.
doesn't have to be like on the same mission. Maybe you helped him, you know, just like as a manner of business or goodwill, and maybe not.
Yeah, maybe
directly
like so.
related
It's
to
not
his
like we're
mission.
not necessarily like stayed together after this meeting, right?
Maybe you're not brothers in arms, but
Are we supposed to be from this story, or is that going to happen in like? The...
and I think I can, once we hit the first session, like when I have a beginning scenario, I'll have you guys together for some reason. That doesn't have to be explicitly defined here. You know, maybe I might say like you guys all. Most generic one is like you guys. One of you got a job offer and needed 3 people. It's like I'll call the 3 people I know the best. That's the generic way to handle it. This doesn't have to cement you as like we're best buds together forever now. It can just be something like you would consider him somebody to call or someone that you know. Or it could be something very vague, and then like the details of you could just write something like, and then I helped him do something, or maybe and then he helped me do something, and it could just be like a several word phrase, you know, like in the example for one of the characters in the rule book that they give an example of. It's just like there's like a thief woman and a wizard, and thief, more or less, the wizard had his story was something where he had an artifact, and the thief woman, for her inserting story, she ended up stealing the artifact, and then the rest of her story is just like, and then through some series of events, he got the artifact back, and they ended with a mutual respect. So it doesn't have to be specific either, but like you can sort of like let your imagination go with that, like what did he do to get back that respect? Like, so you could be vague about it, like. Otherwise, I think we've got a good thing here too.
Otherwise, I have like a little. This would be like a little thing if like I just like helped him out, like
something he
like
would
maybe like
remember
I
for.
was familiar with like I was gambling in the streets with homeless men, and I was like, you're gonna want to avoid these streets.
Yeah, maybe, and then you
Just-
gave him
just
some
gave
good
him a
advice
tip.
on the streets, since he seems a bit
And I don't know what kind of tip it is. Maybe
he
it's
seems
like,
to lack some streetwise.
I don't know if that makes what that makes me. Like I'm helpful. But why am I just helpful?
Helpy man. You know the streets. You. I was born there.
You were molded by him, man.
I feel like that goes in with the elusive drifter already.
Yeah, bad.
I feel like I'm trying to combine two aspects into one.
Maybe you don't need to then. I mean, you can just take whatever you want out of it, and you can just put in even most generic phrase just as a placeholder now, so if we're not going to change the story.
Yeah.
That's the same pencil. And you can just leave it blank for now too. We can also leave these blank, and then just as the story goes along, you're like, I think of something.
I mean, I'm fine with Good Samaritan for hire.
You could put a star next to it if you're not sure about it for for keepsies.
I mean, Gug is neutral good. The neutral good guy.
Well, what else can we take? What do you guys have any suggestions for Tom's aspect?
I don't know what he wrote.
Okay, so he got ambushed trying to do an underground meetup.
I was there.
Thomas, you read yours. You're the best
So-
at reading your handwriting.
I witnessed, so he was getting mugged, his alien cube became a sword and stuff.
Yep.
Yep.
I saw that, and I was like, what's that? What's going on over there? And so I just said we found common ground in our unusual abilities. I'm skeptical of his royal claim, but I see that he has special powers, and so I think he's destined for something important.
Well, you could write something just due to curiosity. Wasn't that the main reason, like, you jumped in there?
I suppose, yeah. I guess, like,
Curiosity killed the cat.
You didn't really jump in. You could have yourself jump in
Yeah, you could alter that.
and like be helpful to his.
I don't know if I'd be
struggling.
jumping in.
Maybe you just like.
So you were just like in the shadows. You're like, oh, I like that over there. I
Well, I
hope they
did-
kill him and I can steal it.
I mean, I feel like an average citizen, if you're in some spot shivved.
But you're not supposed to be
We
an average
okay,
citizen.
yeah, we want
I mean,
you
but my
guys
powers-
are proactive, competent, able people.
In combat?
Well, maybe not.
See, that's
maybe
why,
not
like, I don't
combat.
know. That's not my skill.
Well, okay, well then, like you said, maybe you told
What is
him
your
which.
skill?
Maybe I tried
are you
to
good at?
diffuse the situation.
Why would I hire you?
He's good at magic-y shit.
Okay, so
I know things.
why didn't you do magic-y shit?
You could easily say,
Maybe I do.
You did magic-y shit to.
To get the thugs to go away. I don't know.
Well, he did fight them off a bit too.
But see, he fought them
Well,
off.
you can insert and say, and
No,
I
he's-
helped him.
Are we going with your magic fucks with technology?
Possibly. Would
Okay.
that then contradict his alien cube? Or
I'm
perhaps the
wondering-
combination
I'm
caused it
wondering
to
how it
activate?
affects that thing. Yeah.
Maybe it activated actually because, like, my...
Maybe.
Will you have peace or war? I will have war.
Yeah. Thank you.
Audio disabled for this video
Yep.
because of that. Yeah.
Wonderful. And
So I don't know if that's an aspect. Well, that doesn't have an aspect for me. It's just kind of an interesting story point.
yeah.
If like there's some interplay with our abilities, like I activate his cube.
I mean, that
and we
can
don't-
be an aspect, just a specific relationship with a character.
Yeah,
Like, in
and I don't.
In the book, and an aspect is like, I think it's on the sheet actually, is you owe a character everything.
Oh yeah,
Like, that's a
I
whole
owe
aspect.
old Finn everything.
Yeah, that's a whole.
That's one of
aspect.
his. Some old guy helped him on his feet, and although it doesn't sound like you guys have quite that intimate a relationship.
No.
Maybe. It could be something as simple, and after that, we did a lot of jobs. Or I don't know.
I like the idea of like Portek. Somehow used his abilities.
Maybe you did something psychic that triggered his ability to use it first. Maybe you don't always trigger his ability, but that
Or
assisted.
you triggered this possession in his brain.
I'm gonna say Portek thinks, suspects, knows,
Well,
suspects that his powers may have contributed to the cube's activation, since they normally have unusual effects on technology.
yeah. And
That poster, man, it's pretty misleading.
Yeah.
oh,
Because it looks like they're on the same team
They're
together.
best buddies.
Outlaws will become heroes.
It's a buddy cop film.
Yeah.
yeah. And if we want to think of more details, we can add to these stories later. Then we can. I think for now that you've got that sort of settled, I'd say draw an aspect out of it, or don't, and then we can throw on to the next.
Alright, I'll think about the aspect.
Okay, you don't have to write it down right now.
Yeah. that's fine.
Okay, so you guys pass both of these cards you have now. Write the initial or something on the one that you just wrote on, and then pass both those to the left again.
Good luck.
And insert yourself to
Wait,
interact.
so he's gonna see my second one. I'm gonna see his second one.
Yeah.
But I've never seen. Oh, I'll see one of Thomas's now.
Yeah.
Okay.
His original one.
So
Yeah.
now after this, you will all have interacted with each other.
All right.
Which one was first here? Probably Gug.
Whichever one makes sense when you read it alone.
Who's Benny?
Benny's Gug's contact,
At the time,
the guy who hired him for the job, or
as it says right there when he hired me.
which. Yeah, this is Gug's. Yeah.
So I have to write on two of these.
You write on a new index card,
Okay.
and it's
Which one am I responding to?
They're the same story.
They're all in one story, aren't they?
Right.
So the story as a whole,
Okay.
in some way that you interact with, I believe is that Thomas's story? No, that's
Yeah.
Thomas's original
Yep.
story. Yeah, in some way that you interact with. Thomas specifically needs to be interacted with, or you could just ignore Gug's. Well, don't ignore it, but it could be separate. It could be before, or after.
Just get rid of it.
It could be a different part, that you don't interact with Gug in it.
I was thinking for aspect, because how it might have impacted his thing. So it's I feel like it could, the powers impact, affect technology. Sometimes it seems to. It seems really specific.
And it's
I don't know if it
it's
empowers
also,
it or
kinda,
disrupts it. Does it empower it or disrupt it?
Make a decision, man.
And also kind of branches right off your high concept too.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe,
if
maybe
you
it
can
could be
get some,
related to the aspect of helping him out or something. Maybe.
yeah, like some personality trait you get out of it. Like maybe you do have a maybe it's just like your actions seem to be motivated by curiosity, or like maybe curiosity is not what.
Maybe
it
I'm
is.
just a curious cat.
Do you have like a job? Like, are you a bum?
He has a.
I would
he has
resent that term so much.
He lives with his mother, you know,
Yeah,
just like
I
he has
mean,
an allowance.
I'd say I'm in exile.
I'm in
Curious.
exile. I'm in exile.
Yeah.
Are you? Where do you get the
Knowledge
money
seed.
for all this?
Sells off various heirlooms.
Oh, that's a good question. I'd been thinking forward. I need to think present.
Where have I been?
Yeah.
Who am
What
I?
have you done? Because what you're doing right now
It's
is
evil.
evil.
Yeah, it is.
So,
It is pretty
I
evil.
want to know.
Yeah.
Oh, trying to just rule the galaxy.
Rule the galaxy.
Mhm.
Need money to rule.
I'd actually like to think I'm part of the civil government.
Oh, okay.
Like I have that sort of like formal training as far as like
Right. You're a civil servant.
a man of yeah.
An alderman.
I think I don't have any illusions about though who we're reporting to at the end of the day. Yeah.
So just to clarify for this story, you said like you were the one that connected the job.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the reason he came into contact with him.
Oh shit! I actually haven't read this. I want to kind of take a look quick.
Okay. So they put a price on your head, Thomas? Oh no,
I mean, they're looking for me because they gave me money that they didn't really want to give me.
right.
So like they're trying to get their money back.
Okay.
Maybe that means they put a price
Oh.
on my head or something. But
Oh yeah, didn't Gug like launder half of it? Have you seen the
No, I
story
haven't
that?
seen
Oh
it.
yeah, you should know how Gug's interacted.
I
with
did
you.
some shit.
That's cool.
Yeah, I would say take a quick look at it if you want. But yeah, Gug helped you out. By
Some might say.
he laundered off half of that money. That
You were hired by the organization.
The one that.
The one he's
The
talking
one and
about.
only. Oh,
Nah,
okay.
not Trenchant
the
Court.
organization. Okay.
so are you laundering my money or their money?
Well, it's their money. You stole it. Well, I guess you won it.
Yeah.
But
So you're helping me.
I'm
right?
helping you in
Okay.
exchange for half of it. Because I figure it's useless to you anyways.
Okay.
But I'm
So
a
I
good
was gonna say,
guy. I'm
so
not going to
perhaps,
steal it all.
So if
from
you're
you.
laundering money, I feel like that's like we're somewhat partners.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
We're probably like working together for a while, so that means I could probably be in this scenario.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could build off that other.
So who am I trying to interact with here?
Whose original
It's
story is
Gug.
it? Is it Gug's original story where he blew up the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Gug. Make sure you have some interaction with Gug. You don't have to come across Tyr at all, but you
Okay.
can if you want. Doesn't have to be immediately in. Could be after or before.
So when you were in the park, you did like come up to me, and then we've like made communication at that point, right?
Yeah,
Like, that
I
was,
didn't.
like-
I didn't quite decide if I jumped in or not. I feel like I did.
You-
After the fact, I kind of decided it would
Yeah.
be better if I did.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
You
So let's say I did that and I did something
Okay.
powery, psychic-y.
Did you kill these men? Did you slaughter them in cold
I
blood?
left that kind of
I think you
open ended.
did.
I said
You turned your thing into a sword.
I did.
So
You left one alive to tell the others.
No, I'd like to think there was some bloodshed.
Oh yeah.
I'd have no reservations. They attacked me. They deserve to die.
I understand.
Okay.
Yeah, no tangential interactions here. You at least shook their hand and became somewhat of friends.
I was one of the thugs. I died.
I died.
New character.
New character.
Dead.
That was a quick wipe.
Indiscriminate AoE. So are you against Tetracorp?
They are an obstacle that will eventually need to be overcome.
Good.
It's like, oh, they exist, but
Like-
he's got no vendetta.
Like I'm on good terms with several people that I know, and you know, it's not. I'm not at war with those people per se, but the idea of this this corporate institution,
Yeah.
I'm opposed to it.
Unless it's run by you. across
Correct.
the whole
Yep.
galaxy.
That's right.
Okay. Gog figures that's a complete pipe dream, but he'll jump on the rails with you.
Yeah. Well, because an ambitious guy,
Yeah.
sometimes you know, that can be a good guy to partner up with. Yeah.
he's got some motivation to do something.
What's the name of the planet?
Tetra Earth.
Nope.
Kaldor?
Rigel.
Rigel?
Rigel?
I like that.
Isn't that like a star?
That's like a. Oh yeah, I guess it's in a bunch of sci-fi
Yeah,
shows
it's
too.
always played.
So we went to Rigel 7.
Um,
That's fine. You guys want it to be Rigel?
How's it going?
I want whatever Thomas says right now.
Oh, man, I don't know what I'm responding to.
Oh man.
Omen.
Omen. No.
Glorp.
Glor.
No,
God damn it.
I reject that out of hand. I couldn't take that.
What in Glorp's what in God's green Glorp are you doing?
What was the question?
Name of the planet.
Glorp.
That's a really shitty name.
Glorax.
Glorax.
God,
That's
it's so
like
cheesy sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like Rick and Morty planets.
Yeah, pretty much.
There it was.
What's the
Glorp.
name of some
Area.
characters in Spartacus?
Crixus.
Oh,
Animagus.
That's a cool name.
I like Crixus.
Crixus is cool.
That is cool,
Crixus.
actually.
That,
Cool name for the
that,
planet.
that's how you get a good answer from Thomas right
That's
there.
good.
Channel is Spartacus.
Gannicus.
All right.
That might be the moon. Alright. So I was thinking, going back to, I finally had an idea for my ability from the last story.
Yeah.
Like maybe like respects ability or power or something. So I was like, ooh, this guy is like important, so I like wanted to like align with him. And maybe like on downsides, like I underestimate people who don't appear to have ability, or like I disregard them or something.
So that sounds good. That sounds interesting. Respects.
I don't know if it's power or
Because
ability.
like, do you respect the corpse? Do you respect the gambling?
Not like
do you
that.
respect the casinos?
I don't know.
Respects. Respects like.
Personal ability.
Respects the. Like it, what is it about his power do you respect? What specific?
That he
is
that he wields an alien cube.
So is
So
it
I just
that-
think there's
do-
something special
do you,
about
Do you
him.
like the weird power, or do you like the fact that it's like under the radar of normal people? Do you like just the straight up like he can
Maybe
do shit?
the unusual. I don't know if it's just unusual, if it's like
Respects the. I do like that though. I like the feeling of it, the intention. Gug watched from the shadows as the other two thugs jumped the wealthy man. Gug was given word that the civil servant was carrying some sort of old artifact. Oh wow. After seeing the transformation, watching his associates die.
They know about it.
His associates? Your associates?
Yeah, they were my associates.
He followed the man, discovered he opposed Tetracorp. After meeting this, they decided to share a common interest and began working together. Okay.
I just don't know what aspect. I don't have an aspect that talks about my uncouthness, and that really saddens me.
Well,
Nothing I wrote is uncouth.
I guess this has like the same like sort of
It has a lot of the same feel.
narrative difficulties that we're having with Thomas's, in that you didn't really it was sort of just like hi,
Yeah,
let's be friends sort of
Pretty
thing.
much, yeah.
Rather than like you didn't take like an active role in doing anything with him, or like helping
Yeah,
or
no.
complicating his life.
Right.
Beside, the only complication that you did was really negative and being associated to his attackers.
Right.
Like a complication can be negative, but not
Nothing-
like
nothing
like
personal,
endangering your
man.
friends' lives negative. but I
don't know what else I would have done in the story though to really.
maybe it's related. Yeah, it's hard to.
Like he already got help from Thomas. Like all these people just rush out to aid you in the street.
Yeah, like, no,
I know. No, my sword may have never awakened if they just went in a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
And so I'm safe. Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, maybe everything you wrote down as is good, but then maybe write something like a pen to it, like something you did for him or he did for you, or that arose from just the straight up like what. We need something something to meld you guys a little more together.
You gave me some access codes. That would be a big deal.
Yeah, like you develop something to
can give you
develop
some
your
access
relationship.
codes.
All right.
Some government-like info.
Yeah. Okay.
They haven't traced it to me yet.
No,
So
not yet.
yep.
I'm a little bit of a standstill as well. So since I figured we had this working relationship, he mentioned he had this job coming up, and I had a bad feeling about it. I was like, you shouldn't do this, but he did it anyway.
That's a surprise right there.
And then,
I was very surprised.
so I guess that's a little interesting dynamic, but I don't know like what happened here.
You
Like that,
told him not to do it.
and he disobeyed, so I left.
Like,
But
let's
would I
see.
leave for that?
Maybe
He's laundering my money.
Oh, I am.
maybe you had a word to tell Benny afterwards. Maybe.
Why would you leave? We're working together.
I know. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of something dramatic to happen here. All I know is that I had a bad feeling about the job, and I was like, you shouldn't do it.
Maybe you were on the job with him. Like, it doesn't say so explicitly that he went alone or didn't.
Yeah.
So maybe you played some crucial role in the discovery that it was. Wait, was this a trap? It was a setup by Tetracorp. Maybe you played some crucial role in the discovery that it was a setup.
Okay. That's
Like you
interesting.
came
Yep,
along,
that's
you
an
had
interesting fact.
reservations, you know, and once you went through, you did
I
have
like-
an
I
eye
like
to
that idea.
recognize.
I should put like.
I spelled Crixus Krixxus.
Okay.
How'd you spell it?
Like his name, but I can change it up.
Yeah,
Well,
because
I mean,
you also.
You can spell it however you want. I just thought it was.
No,
nice.
I-
It's interesting that way. Like it's less
sounds
like the historical figure
alien.
and
Oh,
more
so
like
Right.
it's basically
more
the
like
same,
just-
but with a K and two X's.
Yep.
K
Make it 3.
K R Y XXIS.
More X's.
I mean,
more
I used an
sci-fi.
I spelled it Krixxus, but I mean,
Oh.
it's up to you.
No,
I think
we're going for
I think the
Crixus.
K and the double X are important.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
I,
And
I
then-
go for I agree at your spelling.
Okay,
It won't,
all right.
Spelling won't come up in the game anyhow.
I
Right.
should put low friends in high places.
What did you do again? You.
Dude, he gave me access code.
Oh yeah. Low friends in high places.
It
Jesus.
sounds cool.
He's your friend. He's your. That's the.
He's a low friend though. He's
I-
working underground. He's working underground, Phil. It's low. But he's in a high place. I got him.
I like it, but it only applies to him.
No, I got other friends.
You got other friends. Maybe you're good at convincing people to low friends in high places to get.
I'm uncouth.
Yeah. How did you get him to?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're just like, hey, give me those codes.
Forced him.
Maybe you made an agreement with him,
Yeah.
like a pact to.
Write a pact.
Fuck. These are
These are tricky, man.
brain boosters. Thought crunchers. Cause like that was a quick way for you to like him, you know, him giving you the access codes.
Yeah, what does he get out of
Yeah,
it?
he's just like some guy talked to me after he saw me get mugged. He said,
From
"Your
my
codes are-
perspective,
what
what
do
I
you
got out of
want?
it was I have a useful contact now, more than a contact, part of the team. I'm
Maybe-
hoping we
what
can
what
be
did you trade him
teammates.
for the access codes? What did you give him for the access code?
Good question. I mean, I build stuff. I blow stuff up. What do you want, Sean?
Maybe he wants more info about, you know, the government, but he's got the access codes, but not, you know, the other means that you have.
I mean, honestly, having
Having
a
the
good
contact.
Well,
if-
decker
if-
is an important.
Tinkerer.
He's a
Having a
tinker.
good tinkerer on hand.
If
is-
that's
is
sufficient to both you, then
reward enough.
I have nothing against
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, but I need a better aspect than that. I need something
Yeah,
that's
it's
actually
just-
useful to me.
It's a when can you use it, when can it hurt you?
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about it. But when could this be used against you? Like, what are negative aspects of this aspect?
So like probably underestimating someone who I think,
Oh, right, yeah, you
who I
were
think
saying.
isn't
Yeah.
skilled or
You
something.
place high value on it, so you underestimate people. What you got, Thomas?
So over here, I just said I went along with the job. I had a bad feeling about it, but I went along, and maybe just somehow I'm the one who discovered it was a setup.
That's sufficient.
Almost done with mine.
So I'm trying to think of what the aspect is. It isn't just using my powers.
Got
That Bobby.
I would say it's possibly good eye for traps, but I don't want to say you're like paranoid for traps. Paranoia in general.
Suspicious.
Paranoia and suspicion leads to the dark side.
Is that what? Yeah, that's one of those aspects you said weren't very good.
Well, just because it's like, when can I use it all the time? When do I want to use it? Never. Like, well, like as from a GM, it's hard to compel just paranoia because I'm like, you start getting the jitters and you're looking all around now, or like you don't try.
Yeah, give me a point.
It's just like you just I could as GM I can use it to fuck up any social interaction. Like you're paranoid of this person, but I like the feeling though that like you're.
Like that's why I wonder if it's the aspect that I found it, or is it the aspect that I helped him?
Just, Well, we can leave that aspect open too to interpretation until after this if you want.
How about
until we
fast
all got-
friends and faster enemies?
You made fast friends. Who did you make enemies
I can make
with?
faster enemies. I don't know. I should work that into the story. I guess the organization that I pissed off again. If I not
The
doing a good job.
organization.
Well, yeah, you don't have to write that down if you just want to. I mean, add that to your story if we can imply it from it.
Yeah.
Fast friends, faster enemies. I think that makes for.
Because then I can work that in with social situations, which is I wanted something.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you. I mean, you've got a skill for quick rapport in a way. You know, you can always use that for like
But isn't he uncouth?
It's never explicitly stated he's uncouth.
Oh, it's not explicitly stated.
I mean, I talk.
Maybe you speak bluntly.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah,
still
uncouth people can
develop-
have a sort of charisma.
Right. So I make fast friends, but I inevitably piss them off.
Fast friends, furious friends.
Fast and
too
furious
fast.
friends. Fast friends, furious enemies. Yeah, that's what I gotta write down.
That sounds great because the faster enemies that
Yeah.
means. You're just a contentious person.
Yeah, pretty much. All around. You're just not a good person to know. Alright.
Okay.
So we hand back sheets.
No, I go.
He's got to finish his. Once he does, we'll hand back sheets, decide on skills, and then we'll hit stunts. Unless at any time, or we could also switch back after these back to
Yeah.
game
the
creation.
skills and stunts don't apply to anything. in
skills
the
and
world.
stunts are sort of something that you just decide.
Yeah, so we should finish the world. Finish the world.
Finish the world.
Training model.
I love character creation. For me.
It's definitely a lot more in depth
It's
than like just picking
picking stats.
Well, I mean,
Like maybe
sometimes I
five.
do write like an 8-page backstory.
Yeah.
But then it's just
Like
it's
it-
my story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
and
story-
then
everyone else.
This makes it
Everything-
everybody's
Yeah, the
story.
backstories always just lead up to like,
Yeah.
well, now we met.
Yep, we met.
It's like
It's like,
it
why,
doesn't play
why
important-
shouldn't I leave you
doesn't
and go
play
move
important role.
away and just like tickle this goal?
Should.
Yeah, and
Okay.
here it's like it almost it helps.
I've got it.
develop,
I
like,
just need to
your-
write it now.
It gives you good reasons for it all.
Yeah.
And like this is all fuel. All you guys are just becoming one big thread that I'm gonna light on fire.
My choices were between Gug and Frederick, which neither are really good characters. So I think I already shot myself in the foot.
It can be a new version of Gug,
I
slightly modified.
It always can.
like
be,
with
yeah.
relations for like most of your relations are bad.
Yes,
Of antagonistic against organizations.
but I'm also
Which is fine, but
easygoing
I
most
can
of the time.
I can pull like people out of your imaginary past into your present, you know,
Yeah.
through you know, fast friends, furious enemies.
I mean, if
Two
you
for
don't
the
fuck
friends
me
part.
over, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Okay.
Oh my god. Okay.
All right,
let me,
I got it.
So this is in whose story? Thomas's.
It starts mainly as Thomas's, and I just kept going.
Okay. Tyr, on good terms with the organization, took an interest in misdirecting efforts in their search for Portek. Tyr began diverting Portek's marked, though the front is always in some danger as Tyr manages his connections.
It's kind of an interesting idea here.
I'll do manage numerous connections because then it's like I have a little too much sometimes that I can manage.
Manages a shit ton
Yeah,
of connections.
right.
Shit ton of connections.
Yeah, sure, I could do that.
I don't care. I'm not
All
gonna
right,
tell you what to do.
all right.
Like, so kind of the fact that I went along with this, like I got involved in his job and there's like a setup and stuff. So what if it's like gets caught in other people's
Just like
Schemes.
I guess
or,
I
like,
have to help you.
wrong place, wrong time.
What's
Except I'm
positive?
supposed to be lucky. That's what I don't know.
Gets caught in people's
So yeah,
schemes.
what's good
What's
about
the
that?
positive of that?
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
sort
know.
of just like, oh fuck.
Bad about that.
Something about reluctant? Are you reluctant?
I was reluctant because I had a bad feeling about it.
Yeah. So something with reluctant.
Reluctant friend. Helper.
Reluctant friendliness, like you're just too awkward to say no, and then you just make friends out of it.
Not exactly. That's not quite right.
Pulled into helping people. I think we can think. I think you can think on it more, and we'll just go back to
Okay.
this for now because nothing's gonna change from it at the moment. Okay, so right now on our game, all I've gotten written down. Oh yeah, give back all your Nobody wrote in. Oh, this is Tom's.
Goods.
Gug, Tyr.
Tier.
Yes, just so you remember where all your
Yep.
shit comes from. That stays with you. These all stay with you.
All my
your
cards
Vortex,
stay with me.
yeah. So you remember where your aspects
Oh, okay.
come from. So right now we've got game name, myths of the star portals, setting scales. We're starting at the home settings, all we really know. Got Tetracorp, control is in control. That's a current
There's a city called Crixus Prime.
Sure,
All right, cool.
Is Prime normally the name of a city?
why
The
not?
Primus. Primus, perhaps.
I know in Star Trek, Cardassia Prime is the capital city of Cardassia.
Okay.
There you go. Crixus Prime. Or
Okay,
they
so
could
we've
call
got a
it
current issue.
Tetracore City.
What kind of... Okay, for faces and places here, we've got the planet itself, Crixus, and Crixus Prime.
Well,
you know.
how are we envisioning this planet? Like, is it just one big city, and then the rest is like wasteland, desert, forest?
I feel like it shouldn't
Nothing.
We
be.
haven't
Are
discussed
there
this
other
yet.
cities?
I feel like it's really cities because I'm supposed to be drifting between them.
Okay,
Okay,
so
yeah.
there's enough that you can drift.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not all the same. Maybe there's only one really big one. but
Crixus Prime.
Crixus
Maybe
Prime
that's
is
why that
biggest-
was such a big deal that I had to leave the big city, and like I'm wandering around.
But aren't we in the big city?
Let's not be at Crixus Prime then, maybe. No, but this is where the portal is. Of course it'd be Crixus Prime.
Maybe we don't live there.
But he's a civil servant.
Of Crixus Prime.
Well, I
The
wouldn't.
government.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't start myself off.
What
as
was that
like-
library you started?
Well,
That's in the main.
it was a
city.
defunct library that I started renovating for our base of
Turning into
operations.
Ghostbusters base.
So maybe that's not in Crixus Prime. It's maybe in a city that used to be big. But due to
Now it's a
due to
ghost town.
Tetracorp, it's no longer big.
So why would
Tetracorp
he
figure
work there?
I thought it's
Well,
a base of operations.
This isn't where I
We want our
work.
base of operations to be in a different city.
Okay,
I mean,
well,
why
let's
not?
just-
What's so special about Crixus Prime?
I kind of well, it's like the capital.
We were just thinking. Well,
That's
maybe.
where,
That's
that's
like-
where the portal is. It's the capital. It's where everything.
It's where the corporate headquarters will be.
Where all the good jobs are.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's not.
I was thinking it was just in like
Maybe
just one of like the far out parts of town.
maybe the
Yeah.
portal. I mean, we don't have the portal. Doesn't have to be in the capital city.
No,
of,
it,
like,
it
the
could be off
country.
But
It could
off
just
site
be in
somewhere.
some
That's
city.
why it's the capital city.
Okay.
Could
TechCorp
be.
has to control it.
Yeah.
So they would have a strong presence. So it is possible it's not in the city, but
So if it
the
is,
the location.
We don't know where it's at.
No, we don't.
could be
depending on
nearby.
how big this city is, maybe that's also why it's so hard to evade people, because like there's nowhere to go other than you're in the city somewhere.
Yeah.
But it has to still be big enough where it is possible to avoid people.
Well,
It's
avoid
Princess
people
Prime,
through.
man.
You can avoid people through anonymity.
Yep.
Really, just like
And I'm
I
helping you with that.
turn a corner and
Keeping
who
you off
can
the
find you
grid.
anymore, kind of thing, can be a thing.
Okay, so maybe the one big city and the rest is kind of all third world.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Fuck everywhere else.
Well, depending on how good their economies are,
And we
there
don't
might
even-
be some more affluent.
We don't need
cities.
to. We don't have to specify the other places too. If we don't plan to go
No,
there.
not really. If it's on the other side of the planet,
This is a whole planet.
it is.
Planet.
We don't have to
I
find
mean,
a
it could be
planet
a really
if you guys
small
don't.
planet, like the ones in Rick and Morty. It's real tiny. You can walk around in a few minutes. No.
Well, for now, I'll put
I feel
planet
like there has
Crisis
to be way
Prime.
more than one city on a planet.
Not
How could there
necessarily,
be
man.
just one?
Star Wars, some planets are cities.
I feel like they don't fully develop that. They just show you one part of the planet, don't they?
No, it's all one city, man. It wraps around.
It's a really small planet.
It's like a mega, like that's what. The
In a
planet
really big
is.
city.
Yeah,
It's like a
huge
fucking board
city.
planet going on
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's horrifying. Maybe.
What's your argument here? Is that you don't want to be in the main city?
I'm okay with it if it's big enough that
It's
I can
big
both
enough.
Sure,
drift.
it's big enough.
Done. It's big enough.
Okay, so let's
Okay.
think of an aspect that I can write down that defines this city.
Defines the city.
Yes. I mean,
Um,
besides, I could just put.
Tetracore.
Diverse.
Well, there's multiple criminal
Now,
organizations,
is
right?
this is this like a city like
Is it generally corrupt?
what's the like? Is this like a city from like fucking?
It's not going to be idyllic.
No.
It will be after
he
I
almost
become
got shivved in the street.
in the park.
Yeah, in the park.
Is this like giant block of maze of like shit, or is it
I
more?
feel like there's good parts of the city, bad parts of the
Yeah.
city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just like any city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put portals nearby. How about that?
Okay.
Portal.
And that has all sorts of associations with it.
So it's,
That's
I would
gonna
say
draw the
overall it's
powerful-
probably economically thriving.
It's the
Well,
capital.
yeah, it's the capital,
Capital
but
and
people aren't happy.
not ideal.
Not all-
Not
Like the
not
the
idyllic.
corporations control everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, for another.
Not much freedom, but it must be some freedom.
The illusion of freedom.
That's all you need.
Yeah,
That's all we need.
true.
I'm gonna switch over and say, okay, what? I guess we can easily say Megacorp is a name, or Tetracorp.
Yep.
Yep.
Tetracorp, and that what will we call that organization that Tom lost all that shit to, or that Tom won shit from? Got to give it a name. Give me a name.
True Grave.
Nope.
Okay.
The skulls.
The skulls.
The
Skulls.
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 They were the skulls.
Yeah. Skulls.
Tom's practically a known skull. He was hanging out
I'm
by
not
the.
sure I'm a known skull.
If you're a known
At
skull,
times.
that means you're part of the skull.
That's good.
Yeah.
One. That'll come up a lot. Like,
I've
yeah,
been
is he a
in-
known-
I think
is he
that
known?
guy's a known
Benny's
skull.
a known skull.
I've been in and out of the skulls.
Yeah.
Maybe it is just the skulls, and like, oh, that guy's a known skull.
yeah. If you're a known skull.
That's a big accusation.
If you're a known skull, that's almost like shoot on sight for law enforcement.
Known skull.
Okay.
Which I'm sure it's a corporate police force.
Oh, of course.
Yep.
I wonder how much government there really is.
Well, like I said, I think it's probably enough where people feel that it is, like in
More
Shadowrun.
than
like,
Shadowrun.
Yeah.
Because in Shadowrun, nobody gives two shits about the government.
Okay, so yeah, a little bit more than that
Yeah,
because
so a bit more
yeah.
Shadowrun.
The skulls are. What can we? Give me two things I
I'd
can
say it's like a
define them as.
backward. What?
Give me two things I can just write down to define them as.
The skulls.
The skulls. I mean, I guess they own gambling establishment. They control some
I
gambling.
feel like they're just into all illegal shits.
Into all illegal shits. Make sure you write that down.
Into all.
Quote, spell it S-H-I-T-S.
They can't regulate me.
I don't know. I just picture it as being a general
The general
mafia
Unknown
type,
leadership,
mafia
like,
type of
Are they
organization.
like the kind of mafia like we know everything? Or are they like not in total control? Like
I wouldn't say they're.
Well,
no.
I mean, we could right now just come up with something unique about them.
Yeah.
something
Something
specific
against
about
the
them.
norm.
Okay.
Like,
Like
do
secretly a cult of ancient ones.
they all
Run,
run?
run by an alien.
It
Yeah.
could be.
Well,
I
there
don't
you
know.
go.
Run by an AI.
It could
There
be.
you
Maybe
go.
that's true, but
Oh.
I feel like that shouldn't be known.
They took this
Yeah.
AI
That shouldn't be
from
commonly
the
known.
Maybe there's rumors.
technology
It's not
derived
commonly
from the...
known.
Maybe it's rumors that they all look the same.
Do they all wear skulls on their faces? Rumors
Death Eaters.
that.
You
Rumors
could
of
have
unnatural-
mysterious leadership,
mysterious leaders.
Mysterious
and
leadership, that's
then
good.
you can decide what exactly is
Yeah.
That's good.
because
by
then
me.
we don't exactly know either. as
That's
players.
perfect.
Yeah.
Leadership. Okay. So we got Crixus Prime, Tetracorp, the Skulls.
Should be a unique way of transportation on the planet. Something fun.
Hyperloop.
Some kind of.
I like
beast.
a hyperloop.
I was gonna say we ride some kind of special.
Dude, if there's a
phase beast.
terrorist attack on the hyperloop,
Oh my God.
that's a really big deal, man.
Fingers will be pointed
That's
at
gonna
the
cause a
dog.
crackdown. That could be an immediate
Yeah,
crisis
could
that
be
we
a
start
crisis.
with. Attack on the hyperloop. Things are really tense in the city.
The Hyperloop.
Perfect chance.
Yeah, the
I'll put
Hyperloop's
the
good, but can we rule out phase beasts?
Phase beasts.
That we ride them and they phase us places?
So they teleport.
That's kind of
Ooh,
cool.
That
Like
was out of left
crazy
field.
is
I like
different
out
than
of left
teleporting.
field things.
So they walk
Maybe
through
maybe walking.
buildings?
That's-
But you don't walk through buildings.
no, that seems
Wait,
crazy.
he said phase like teleport.
I
sort of
was
thing,
thinking
right?
more like teleport, just a way of quickly transporting.
Well, phasing is not teleporting.
That's what I was thinking of.
Like there's like these phase
Like they phase
walkers
through
in,
time.
in
In space.
stuff that. Okay, maybe not. Call them something else then. Maybe.
I just
yeah.
want there to be some kind of interesting creature.
Interesting creature.
Interesting beast.
Okay.
The
But why
That's
would
really
we use
just
them
it.
over technology?
That's
because they're
why
so
I'm trying to
convenient.
think of
They're
it.
like cows. They're everywhere.
Maybe
and
because,
they
like we said,
teleport.
like technology is not commonly.
Yeah, it's not like we're not in Silicon Valley.
Maybe
down
not
there.
everyone
So
can
you
access.
get
the
on
Hyperloop.
this, and how does it know where you want to teleport?
Brain waves.
You
My
go. You
God.
go. Yep.
Don't
Yep.
we have enough random
I feel like the
teleportation?
Megacorp would just own these things.
Yeah,
Okay, maybe they don't.
Harvest
They came
their
out of the
brains.
portal.
What can they do if they don't?
They would
teleport?
harvest their brains.
Maybe they're just very, very fast and reliable.
They're really good at riding monorails.
Yep. Monorails.
so
You
weird.
like this better than the Hyperloop, huh?
Can you explain the Hyperloop?
Hyperloop, it's like a monorail,
That goes
but a
around
lot
So
faster.
it's like a
Yeah.
train type of thing. Is that a monorail?
Yeah,
It's like a
somewhat.
very
but above,
quick-
above ground. Yeah.
Maybe it's powered
Okay.
by these creatures. They're on little bicycles in it.
Maybe this planet utilizes weather control.
And
Like
there are
precipitation
animals.
is centered on agricultural areas, and that's it. It's like a dry planet elsewhere. More ways the corporation exerts their influence.
I'm
That's
gonna
big shit.
I'm gonna write Hyperloop down on as an aspect on the planet sort of.
Okay.
What's another name or place here that we can throw on here? Like, what would we call did your underground outfit have any sort of form or anything, or is it just sort of first form? Meaning?
it's limited. I mean, these are my two main.
We're it.
No,
This
you're not
is-
it.
this is the
You're not
Underground
it. I have to
Network.
manage a
This
lot of
is the
connections.
Okay, well let's think of then. If
I will
not
think of a name
locations,
for them.
maybe we need some random personalities here. We know we got Benny.
Yeah, we got Benny.
Benny's a guy we can throw here just as a starting point for people
Yeah.
we know of.
There should be a public head of Tetracorp who always talks
Yeah,
about
the
their
face.
new,
Yeah.
like the Steve Jobs
Steve
of
Jobs
Tetracorp.
Tetracorp.
You know, you really want to like him. He's a good guy. You
Yeah.
know,
Apex Dominus.
that's
Wow,
a little too Roman.
ridiculous.
Domax.
Domax.
No.
Domax.
Domax, he's at the max. He's to the max.
Gregor Savchenko.
Brandon Powers.
Wow, that is so.
Brandon Powers.
just-
That's
That
so
makes me think-
2000.
that makes
so
me-
Megacorp.
That makes me
You
think
like
of like
that?
Batman Beyond, like
It'd be like Borax
like what's that guy's
powers.
name in there?
Borax. Nobody named Borax is getting ahead of a corp.
I like Powers though, just like it's just like
Yeah.
Bebop.
a Bebop Powers.
Ignatius Powers.
Bebop powers.
Fred Powers.
Coral.
Coral. I like coral.
Okay, something.
Perhaps.
What could we
Coral.
make unique about him? Like like Fred Powers, Brand Powers. They just sound
Probably
like
has
generic
like an
Power Man.
augmented part of his
Yeah, like,
body.
I feel
or
like all the
something.
names are a
Like,
little,
nice augmented
little
eye.
twisted. What's that guy?
Benny. Benny. What can we?
No,
What do we know?
Miss
What do I know
and
about
stuff.
Benny? Give me
He's a
something.
piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
Piece of
He's a
shit.
double dealer,
Oh yeah.
two-faced.
He's cowardly. Like
Oh yeah.
self-preservation is at like an 11 out of 10 for
Yes.
him. And so he'll be your best friend or
Yeah.
claims he's never known you.
Yep.
Just whatever
Whatever
suits
is
him.
most
Like
beneficial.
he is the extreme of everything that's bad in Gug. Like that's all he is. He's only Gug's
all of
negatives.
my negative
pretty-
aspects.
Okay.
He has no
Did you
talent.
get all that down,
Yeah.
Phil?
I put some stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we sign a name on what's his name?
Corex.
Corix.
But that's really close to the planet's name.
Exactly.
Crixus.
Maybe he named the planet.
Yeah.
Amadeus Powers.
Maybe,
Is he an immortal?
Maybe he's immortal.
Is he a vampire? A vampire
Could
seems
be.
a little.
Known.
He doesn't have to
It's
be
a mixed
immortal.
genre.
Or he doesn't have to be a vampire.
Okay, maybe just some kind of very long-lived alien.
Yeah.
Augustus.
Powers.
Augustus Prime.
Oh, Augustus.
Why do you have to
Got so Roman and like so like.
August. Maybe
August.
August.
August Powers.
That's
That's his name.
solid.
Sounds like could be a girl too. August Powers.
It could be a girl.
But
It's
it,
up to
but
you.
it won't be.
villain that's like immortal, and he's like the head of a corporation?
Professor
Does
X.
Ra's al Ghul had any corporations?
I don't
The
know.
League of
Yeah, I'm thinking of
Assassins.
somebody else.
Okay. I think we'll leave it there unless you want to say more about August Powers.
Okay.
Did you write down immortal?
Immortal. Well,
Immortal-ish.
Is that a known
Maybe
thing?
he's immortal-ish. He just lives super
Oh.
long time. Maybe he's like an
He could
elf
be like
in
Father
Lord of the
from
Rings.
Equilibrium. He only exists as a hologram.
That's true. Like he already is dead.
Yep.
But people keep the hope alive.
Maybe
Oh.
like immortal question
I'll
mark.
put old. Too old.
There you go. You can work with it.
There could be portal technology sustaining
Oh,
his
yeah.
life too.
There's some maybe like artificial
Takes a dip
means.
in the portal every morning.
Oh man,
God.
that is the life of a god
Ra's
right
al
there.
Ghul.
Oh my god.
We have one more name or place thing we could fill in, but I'm gonna ask now. What's the impending issue here? What's
What
about
if
to
there's
happen?
like
What is about to happen?
what if there's like an AI that's like part of the city?
like
And,
a
like
known
everyone
AI, like-
interacts with this AI every day.
Oh, like we'll just say, hey,
Well,
Freddy
we didn't
the
make
AI.
computers that
Yeah, I didn't
Oh,
think it should be.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
maybe on another planet it'll be. Yep.
an impending issue.
Here, yes, like something that's
Maybe like the rest of the planet
Something
is
was-
dying because, like you said, something about the water, like they control water or something.
Well, maybe
it's
the weather patterns have been degraded by like pollution, and so they're trying to stabilize it and make sure precipitation reaches major population centers, and maybe they're losing, like, people can tell like the weather's becoming more and more unstable. Like,
What does that have to do with us?
How can we
Yeah,
change
right.
that?
if we
It's
you
a global.
some-
Well, I was
This
just
is something that affects
So-
us,
and
and,
also-
we can help.
I also you see something there's a well you guys will be able to do a lot.
what about a blackout?
What's that to do with the portals?
Is that like an
I wanna-
Throughout
I wanna-
Crixus.
an impending one, like one that it's got to have some sense of urgency but hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
Like
At some point,
we
I want
know
to
it's on the
portal.
horizon.
Well,
Right, so it's
so
not like
we-
a current
An
No.
energy shortage. Like, that doesn't mean there's going to be there's a blackout at the start, but like maybe there's more and more impositions on like energy power usage
Due
and
to
like
population growth
right,
and growing technology.
So,
like,
like-
yeah, and so there's like
we can't.
you know, it's like
sustain-
in the summer when there hasn't been a lot of rain, they don't let some communities use their sprinkler systems. It's like a similar thing
So
where
like
it's
we
like
could put down like impending energy blackout. Like
Yeah.
Like oh shit, the day's coming where like the energy
Right.
reserves are going.
right. That,
And maybe
that would
like
be cool.
going through the portal is the only way to continue life. Like you're like
Or
the planet like won't sustain
planet
life
is
for long
there'll
enough.
be
for it.
there'll be a
Oh.
thing. It's like, do we go like into like sustaining what resources we have and not throwing it all to the portal, or like
Yeah.
do we need the
Do we need
the
the portal?
power and the
Tetracorp-
technology?
and Tetracorp
That's
maybe
cool.
Tetracorp doesn't want to release the portal, so it could all be worked in
Oh,
like that
man,
way. Like
yeah.
maybe
Impending blackout.
energy crisis.
I like
just
that.
black
Impending-
energy blackout.
Impending
energy crisis, you should say, 'cause
Yeah,
then
like,
it wouldn't
like
necessarily
it's
have to
not
be.
like everyone's worried about it. Well, people are probably worried about it. It's not
Everyone's
like right
aware. Everyone's
Now.
aware. that
Everyone's
it
aware
is-
something's
Yeah.
the
It's not
shit's gonna
sustainable.
drop.
So impending energy crisis that threatens life on
Because
I-
we
I
have
don't-
planet.
I don't feel like the megacorp would really like. Oh yeah, energy's gonna run out.
Yeah, well, they weren't the ones who made the announcement.
But who did?
The
That
answer
could
is
be
like,
someone we'd want to.
is it an announcement? How is it known?
Well,
It was like a Snowden.
I feel like
thing
it's
or
just.
something.
I feel like it's an
exactly.
observable.
No,
Snowden.
there was a
Isn't it just-
whistleblower.
wouldn't it
They
be like
Borax
let it
Snowden
through.
came out.
Wouldn't it just be like an observable trend?
Not necessarily.
Not yet.
It could just be like holy shit, like when people are like, holy shit, asbestos in our walls kills people,
Yeah,
it's
maybe
like,
maybe it is a
could've leaked that
whistleblower.
info.
Maybe it is a whistle.
could've.
Yeah, maybe you found
I'm
it
in there,
your.
man.
Maybe you found it or something.
Like, look at these numbers.
Like they have projections.
Do it-
and
do
like
it-
all of a sudden there's like this huge, like, oh my god.
do we want it to be you? Do we want an inside? Do we want this name a guy?
Well, that
a
would
guy,
give us
a
a
guy that
cool-
we.
That
guy
would give
we
us a
could
cool
contact.
NPC we could interact with.
Just like, hey, we know of this one guy, I mean, maybe he did
And
interact
Edward-
with you. Maybe
Edward-
you know him.
Croden.
Edward Croden. Borax Croden.
Edward. Nettard Bloden. Nettard Crowhen. Nettard
Oh
Crowhen.
my god, what a name.
Nettard Crowhen.
Edward Crowhen.
There it is, Nedard Crowhen.
Okay.
Jesus.
He's crowing all right. He's crowing
Whistleblower,
about
he
lots
crows.
of stuff.
He blows.
So somehow we talked to
he
this
made
guy.
contact.
Or he just sent this message throughout, like, the feed.
Yeah, I think he
The
throughout
feed.
the.
The
Yep,
feed,
and then
dude.
suddenly
link.
maybe that's
It was
why.
like one news station.
Maybe
It
that's
was
why
just a
suddenly
24-hour
like
stream,
like
7 days a
TouchCorp,
week.
everyone was happy enough with TouchCorp, but then with this, like people are like they don't trust him anymore, and like there's pressure, like
There's
There's
growing.
unease.
they're not
Yeah,
running
they're like,
things like
when's
they
this
should.
blackout?
The
What's
climate
gonna
is
happen?
becoming
Yeah,
electric.
there you go.
You don't know which way people are gonna go when the blackout hits.
Okay,
Now
Nedard
we're
Crowhen
thinking.
leaked. Leaker.
We gotta find him. Session 1.
Yep.
The quest.
The quest for
He's gonna be our
Nedard
minister,
happened?
he's our minister of propaganda.
Where in the world is Nedard Crowhen?
he gets sentenced to death.
What do we
Oh,
know
yeah,
about him?
he's
Is
beheaded
he an
after the
anonymous
first
figure, or was he like a known?
Like we have the name.
I feel like he
I
worked.
think
He was
just-
part of
Okay.
But
TouchCorp.
I feel like he wouldn't release his real name, so I must have found
Isn't
that
that-
out.
We
We'll
have
say
eight.
I found out his real name.
Okay.
What was his fake name?
Deep throat.
Yep.
Okay, well I'll
It's
just
settled.
leave him as leaker of the crisis.
Deep hen.
Nettard Deep Throat Crowhen.
I guess now is a good time then to go back to your character sheets to
Skills?
decide skills
Can we do
and
skills?
stunts. Yes.
Yeah, I want to know
So
what
I
that
gave
is.
you all a default list of skills.
Man, it's almost 10 and we're getting to skills now.
That's character generation, man.
Yes, I'm going to.
Well, it wasn't just character gen today. It was
world
world
gen.
gen. That adds a lot.
I like where we're going. It seems pretty cool.
Interesting.
So for skills, you will notice you have sort of like a sideways pyramid thing going on here. You'll put one skill, you write in at the top one, which is 4. Then you'll have 2 at 3, 3 at 2, 4 at 1.
Hold on, say the numbers again.
You can just see here. There's where they go.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
four.
I'm going to append onto here, onto the skill list, technology and perhaps performance. I don't know if you guys play musical instruments, but
Where's the list?
you have it under here somewhere.
Would like my psychic abilities be a skill?
Lower.
No.
Lower.
Psionics.
Below it. The last one.
Usually.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Lower. You should-
Lower.
That's what just
Physically
confused me. All right.
Yeah. Ignore the X's for now. That's just for when we're playing. It'll get you an idea. Like for example, you can attack people mentally, sort of with provoke. You can attack people physically. with
Rapport.
Fight.
That's the one I want right there.
Yeah. You sound like you'd have contacts. You guys
Well,
probably.
rapport is also like
It's a necessary,
interaction.
It's a
I
necessary
think.
feature for your character.
Yeah.
Lore is just like all around.
Lore is general
Knowledge.
knowledge. I would say
Okay.
technology would be the technology knowledge sort of, and crafts would probably be for more mechanical.
So like,
Describe
what would biology fall into?
I'd say that's lore.
Good.
What is will?
Will, like your willpower. So willpower can be used, to like get through a really tough mental situation. Also,
Deceive could be useful, but that is not my
it could
path.
be used
No.
like as a matter of
I believe-
concentration.
I believe I am.
Okay, I
as
feel like
a-
that
as a-
seems,
as
that
a
seems
ma-
fairly suitable.
as
I
a
might-
matter of defending against insults. So also I should mention,
Fight is melee combat.
yes,
Like just in general, your fight
close
is
combat.
Like,
close
so like
quarters.
using my sword through the alien cube. That would be fight.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's sort of
Okay.
generic.
All right.
That's kind of an idea.
Also, I should mention
Be
that
provoking all over the place.
you're
Then you shoot them.
you've more or less got two quote unquote health bars. You've got physical and mental. Having a higher will gives you
Mental.
more mental. Having
Yeah.
a higher physique gives you more physical. stress to be able to withhold. Which
So
I'll get into.
if physique is not even on here, you're just
It's just at one.
brain.
It's just have these 1 and 2. Like these 1 and 2 boxes are always filled. Basically you have
if you're at a +3 physique or
no.
something.
If you have 1 or 2 physique, you get to fill in this number 3 one. You
Mm-hmm.
can outline that. If you have 3 or 4, you get to fill in both of these, and the same for will. So when combat
I
happens,
guess I'm
Do you
saying,
remember
I
what
like the
two
idea of
skills
like
he
having
added?
like maybe will is like my best
Technology and
skill, but like
Technology and
practically speaking, is it
performance.
going to be very useful?
Performance.
for instruments.
you can
and stuff.
if you make it useful.
I'm wasting a skill on.
Like I think
I'll just push.
I
a
think
button on my
will is a
computer
difficult
and just
one
play
to
a MIDI or something.
Carry around my guitar.
to do.
Play some Mega Drive.
Yeah. You're like, you want a performance?
Here's your performance.
Let me find out the exact, reference on all the exact uses of will, or at least the ones that they give.
Crafts.
And resources,
Arts
is that
and
gaining
crafts, yeah.
resources?
No,
or
that's just
having?
like when you want to use your resources that you have, you roll that. So
Dri-
it's sort of a generic bypass of money. Like
Drive is like operate a vehicle.
then, these are
Okay.
pretty much generic,
Will you
encompassing.
take the monkey side?
Like will, you can use will
No.
to
Never.
pit yourself
He-
against
he has no
obstacles that require
place
mental
in
effort.
my vision
Puzzles
for
and
the
riddles
future.
fall under this category. Any mentally absorbing
We're gonna
task,
make him
like
pay for the
deciphering
wall.
a code.
Yeah.
Good.
Use will when it's only a matter of time before you overcome the mental challenge, and Lorf takes more than brute mental force. So will could be, just
Resources.
You can use will to place aspects on yourself representing state of deep concentration. So it's more or less just concentration as will.
Resources are like what you possess.
Yeah, so like how I'm probably gonna handle it is that like if you spend something, or you're trying to bribe somebody or something, I'll have your old resource, see how much you're able to
Okay.
do with it, and then I'll like sort of decrease it for the day, and I'll probably reset
Alright.
it every day or something. But it's just a very generic representation of your wealth.
Is tech gonna have an impact on my alien cube?
I would say probably like if you want to be able to,
Learn new abilities with it?
it'll probably
I'll teach you.
he'll be able to probably come up. I won't be too strict about
Okay.
it. Like if you can think of if you can think of a use for your skill, I'll
For the cube.
organically let
Okay.
you use it. Like you can't argue to me that you used you're deceived to like figure out a
Yeah.
puzzle, but
Right.
What's the difference between empathy and rapport?
rapport is like
Like-
making good connections with people.
Rapport is
and-
like persuade. Empathy is like insight.
yeah. So empathy if you want to be able to like insight into say somebody's
Actually,
intentions.
maybe
Also,
that's more what I'm going for rather than will.
empathy would be like if your friend's really down, you could use your empathy, to sort of create advantage to help him, or else you could use empathy to just gain insight. It's more or less insight.
But I suppose also like I don't know if I'm overlapping here because like I'm more or less trying to describe my powers. I think, and I don't know if I should be doing that.
So for your powers,
So like yeah,
we
how
haven't
much
really
leeway
decided
is that? Like
for your powers, we haven't really decided a method, but one really good way that I found online to have powers in like magic powers and fate would be basically on certain skills that you have. We'd have you use it as a stunt sort of, but certain skills you would like put like a little star next to, and that skill you would only use with like your magical power. So like if you had like shoot down there and you put a star next to it, like you wouldn't be great with a gun, but like you could just roll that to use your magical power to shoot, sort of thing. Or like if you threw down like empathy, then we could like
maybe that'd be like
put a
the
check
kind
mark
of
next to it.
extra. That's like the power insight, or maybe it's like
Yeah, so like whether you want to use it as a power or as a normal skill, I'll just have you probably put like a little symbol next to it to say that's what this is used for. So like if you had crafts,
does it have to be one or the other? Like empathy, power.
oh, like empathy for your power versus empathy in general.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say if you want to have both, then I'd put empathy somewhere on here, and then like put like a little star next to it to say it's a power, and then you could put empathy in a different box for normal human empathy if you wanted.
Okay, now is it like, for example, like how powerful is the power for like something like that? Like, would I just know something? Would it be worth putting like on a grate if it's like a magic power?
It's very loose.
Thomas is taking too long. All right.
You didn't decide on stunts yet, did you?
We get 3 stunts?
Yes. You guys basically have 3 refresh and 3 stunts. Now you can have 4 stunts if you want 2 refresh, or you can have 5 stunts if you want 1 refresh. And refresh just represents the number of fate points you start with at each session. You can go above that when you gain them. So, like, describe the exact nature of the powers that you want, Thomas. That'll help us out a bit.
So I'm thinking, like, I just get, like I don't know if it's, like, a general, like, I can tell if something's going to be good or bad, or something good or bad is going to happen. I think that's kind of the main thing I'm going for, like, being able to tell if something good or bad is going to happen.
Okay.
Like, something like
we
with
could
like,
also...
the gambling, for example, I was, like, something I was thinking, like, I'm like, good at it because, like, oh, like, I know something is going to be good.
It's mostly a foretelling sort of thing.
Yeah, like, foretelling.
As
I think, is
opposed
what
to,
I was
like,
thinking.
a levitating object sort of thing? Or do you
Right,
want that
I wasn't thinking so much that.
Okay. Well, what we could do instead of this whole thing I was mentioning with starring the next three things is when we get into stunts, a stunt is basically a different way to use your ability, or a way to make your ability better in a skill better in a certain situation. So we could write it down as a stunt, like something like, you can, pay a fate point to be able to roll your empathy or something in order to gain insight in the future on what you're trying to do or something like that. If it's just going to be sort of a more directed one angle sort of thing.
Okay.
I guess
Maybe it would be. I'm trying to think if it.
I guess
Maybe that's pretty straightforward, like that way. I don't know if it would also go to. I don't know if it'd go to the extent of like reading minds or anything.
like it sounds like we could have it. We can make it like a sort of dynamic stunt where like pay one fate point to activate it to do like this level of foresight, or pay 2 fate points, for greater cost to have an even greater level of insight into the situation or something. We could limit it to certain types of.
Are you gonna take the demagogue stunt?
Oh, they have a list of stunts.
There's a list of example stunts. I encourage you guys to come up with your own stunts,
Yeah,
but I've included them with the papers that I gave you guys. I'd say for now, Thomas, just like write whatever you want to be like excluding your powers. Write down what you think your character's skills would be.
Okay.
And then we'll handle that as a part of stunts, or we can go back to your skills again.
Make up my own stunts, huh?
I can do that, no problem.
Okay, you're familiar with stunts, right?
I've played Fate a few times.
Okay, yeah. So the general rule of thumb is either change how the skill is used, like in a specific situation, use one skill in place of another, or in a specific situation, gain +2 to a skill, or let's see, skills and stunts. Let's see, adding a new action to a skill, so you can use provoke to enter all kinds of contests you normally need physique for. You can use burglary to make mental attacks instead of, provoke in a certain situation. Maybe add a bonus, just a +2 in certain situations. Or make a crazy rules exception.
What's your lore at, Adam?
3.
Okay.
So, say I want to start with a sniper rifle, some explosives, and a portable computer. That's just all free. Is that free in your world, Phil?
I think that, functionally,
How you doing this, Phil? Talk to me.
do you have any suggestions that you would think would be useful? I'm gonna let you throw something back to me, because otherwise, my most generic response is I'll treat it as if just that's a part of your. Like, one way to treat it is like, I have a gun. What does that mean for my shoot skill? It's like, I'm just included as part of your shoot skill. Like your shoot skill represents that. That's kind of a boring way, but I'm probably gonna say.
That's tricky, man. I don't know. I
It's-
don't know
it's
how
a-
people do it.
It's a tough rope to walk,
Yeah.
because
Because you can't just have everything.
it's not always about balance if we concentrate more
You're
on
right.
story. So it's not always a big issue. I would say that like if you have like grenades and a sniper rifle, an easy way for me to do it is say, I don't want to say like you have to spend a fate point to use them or something like that.
You could lower my refresh.
I could say like if you want this sniper rifle, you just, I guess like you could say gear. All my gear is like an extra that you cost your refresh for.
But
Or your
then,
refresh
when
for.
I spend the explosives, but I still have a sniper rifle and a computer. Is that still one refresh? Asking the big questions, Phil.
I'm gonna say that explosives are sort of like, it's sort of like a situational advantage. It's sort of like, I mean, you'll have it for once, and you know when you try to make like say a roll to do harm to somebody. Another way to handle it is to have like a both positive and negative when you're using it. Like, so sniper rifle, you know, it's like a +1 to your shoot ability, but
well, I feel like it doesn't even need to be a it just enables.
It just enables the use of it in that situation.
Because I can't shoot without it. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'd be a goddamn wizard.
I'm gonna say for now, I'm not gonna touch on it. If it becomes an issue,
I feel like it has to be kind of a common question because like equipment is part of every
if it became
game.
if it became the point where it's like my guy has like so much equipment, like he's got a mech.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew my cube was gonna be like a pretty sweet item, and so I had it as part of like my aspects itself.
But a sniper rifle is not just.
No, like
It's just
right,
a gun.
Yeah.
It can be taken away from me, whatever.
Well,
break.
usually for disarming, it's just like, you know, you can't shoot until you got another gun.
Right. Yeah.
See, does physique give you anything besides just you have a body?
It's good at if people are trying to move past you, it's good at stopping them. I usually use it for grappling, for like holding people down.
Does that happen a lot?
Dude,
Yeah,
I'll
you know,
hold you down.
like if you're in a conflicting situation, say you're in a tight hallway or something, or like somebody's trying to escape and you're just like, stop moving, you know, or else you might be able to use it, you know, sort of as a method of intimidation, sort of as a roundabout way to create an advantage on intimidation, because like I'm just this big, you know, physique guy. I think physique is useful, and you know, besides the fact that it gives you additional health.
How about provoke?
Provoke. So that's
I
like
assume
it's like shit talking and like being able to really get under somebody's skin, or like, you know, it's sort of like an intimidate.
Okay. Contacts, just having contacts.
Yeah, contacts represents, it can represent like who you know, or like just like when you want to roll to like get information from people on this, you know, in general, you know, it's like, okay, that's good. Otherwise, yeah,
Alright, I'll put it down as well.
they're pretty encompassing skills.
I mean, they suggest possibly having like each piece of gear has a flaw.
Ooh, like, all right. I mean, it could, like, they give any suggestions?
That's really taking the whole two sides to every coin thing all the
They
way.
say armor, you know, gives armor benefit, but it's also heavy and loud. Or they have like a grappling gun that, you know, is a grappling gun, but it's still working out the bugs.
Something I could
Something
compel
you
in
could
a way.
compel possibly,
Compel in a way. I would say that's fine. If you can think of a reasonable detriment to your sniper rifle, like maybe, I mean, like, obviously it's very loud, like any gun.
Yeah.
Very obvious, like it's hard to conceal. It's hard to conceal, perhaps, like
Not collapsible or something.
not collapsible. I think that'd be fine, because then, you know, it'd be very conspicuous, you know.
Explosives have to be detonated by hand. I have to send Benny in.
Benny.
Try and decide between athletics and physique.
I think both are good. You can throw both on there.
But then I have to leave out investigate.
These skills will still be things that you can roll. And
How do you normally recover physical and mental stress?
If you can figure out a way for me to justify it, like if you can
Okay.
justify it. So like I went to the hospital, you know, and then I'd probably roll something to see, you know, it basically stress goes away after a combat encounter, but
Right.
the consequences stay for given amounts of time based on how big they are. So it's like some people put like a first aid skill in their fate games because nobody really can address it. Like empathy can heal mental wounds, kind of. But,
All right, let me give you my stunt pitch here,
Okay.
Phil. And I'll explain to you my rationale with them.
Okay.
Okay, so for this one, you can my trouble is invoked without you giving me a fate point. So it's just like,
Oh,
It happens.
without you giving me a fate point.
wait,
Invoking is when you spend a fate point to use it.
Oh.
Compelling is when I spend a fate point for something complex or dramatic to happen because of your fate.
Okay, then hold on.
I mean, what was the rest of it?
Well, basically, since it's bad when it happens, and like I basically, I'm gonna tell you this other character, like the alien spirit, basically was that possessed is compelled or invoked, whichever you want to say it, to basically, whenever you determine I regain control, to succeed on a tech or lore roll. So basically, I talk things over with Alien Bro, and somehow he knows the answer.
Okay, so like
I encounter something, and then it's like I decide to risk it and just kind of allow the alien spirit to take over my persona, and then for a duration of time, which I don't, always put in your control. Once I come back, I have the knowledge needed for a tech or a lore knowledge check.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of this mechanically. So rather than you giving a fate point,
I will.
in order to
Well, I made this under the assumption that when your trouble is channeled, it was always a compel.
No, any aspect is sort of equivalent.
Okay.
When things are complicated, I give you a fate point for it to happen. And
Okay.
when you use it to your benefit, I get a
Okay,
fate
well then
point.
you can look at these the 2 and 3 and let me know what you think of those.
Cypher, spend a fate point to channel the alien tech cube to a new purpose function. Okay.
Purpose or function.
Yeah,
There's
purpose or
Yep.
function.
So, and that's of course by your approval. Like, I understand it's a small little thing, so I'm not gonna be like I'm gonna channel it to a starship or something like that. But something on the comparable power level.
Yeah, Imperial Fortitude, spend fate points to immediately recover X stress boxes.
So like per fate point I have in the heat of the moment, I can just be like convinced that it's my destiny to keep fighting. So
All right. Cool. Okay, so
I like the concept of this. I just need to. I'm gonna rework it so that it is more fairly costed, and I'd be happy to.
Okay, I would say for your cipher, I would want like a specific like mechanic out of that sort of like.
Okay.
Like it's easy to narratively say, okay, you're using it as a power tool now or something.
Yeah.
But
So I'm playing Shadowrun, you're playing Numenera, and he's playing D&D.
That's what happens when you have fate.
Yep.
channel the
I'm not playing a modern
D&D?
modern Scion.
Okay. Well, we're all playing modern stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm too caught up in
The
D&D
magic.
world.
Okay.
Like, it's really more like...
We should leave for bees soon.
Very soon, yes.
Yep.
Well, we
I'm
can.
trying to think. I mean, I've got some ideas for power.
Got a week
We
to
have a
work on my
chat.
stunts.
We have a chat.
So
talk stuff.
I'm gonna take
Alright.
this. I'm gonna take this
Okay.
stuff with me if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Cool.
I'm gonna say then, yeah, that's probably a good time place. Next week, then we'll finish up on stunts and skills. Yeah,
I'll leave these here.
I'll have to think more about
I will send you about the alien spirit, and we'll work that out so that it's
Okay.
something
Well,
you can
then-
approve.
next week. Then I think I've got enough to sort of start a session,
Good.
Oh yeah,
and then
blackout's coming.
the week after I will be gone. But
God damn it.
yeah, that's how it
Phil.
goes.
Off at the SCAT convention.
Yeah,
2016
ScatCon.
in Poop, Minnesota.
Yep. And I will think about your stunts.
Okay.
I think you want a stunt to be usable often, like, and,
Right.
you don't want them always just to be related to one
I
thing.
think Cypher was a slam dunk.
Well,
then.
I guess you don't want it to be usable often, but like
Okay.
you want a narrow circumstance where you're like, yeah, I'm awesome because of my stunt.
All right.
But I mean, also if you have them fate powered, then that gives you the
Okay.
advantage of making them more
did-
generic or more
I did
powerful.
natural tinkerer +2 to technology when constructing a homemade device.
I deal on my fate dice. I think.
How do you feel about this, Phil?
Say what? +2 to technology when constructing a homemade device.
Yes. What are your thoughts?
So that's basically all devices you make.
Well, yes. Unless you want me to narrow it down a bit more. I mean, how
In a
many
certain-
devices am I going to be making?
Well, I'd say like maybe a specific type of device, or like one easy, or maybe like in a certain situation. Like I don't want to say like I don't know how you intend to make it. Like I wouldn't say like in a stressful situation I'm better at making devices or anything, but
I just wonder how often I'm gonna make devices.
Well, I'll probably let you make devices for whatever reason. For like I'll give you a reasonable time it takes to make it.
Yeah.
And
So you want me to just... Should I change it to explosives? Is that what I should do, Phil? Is that what you want? Is that what you want? I think that's what you want, Phil.
If you don't want it to replace a skill, so like
Right.
if you're gonna be rolling tech or crafts
no, I
only
think
to make
there's-
explosives, then it's a bad. Then it's a bit too broad.
Well, no, because I think it would be used when I do anything with computers
Yeah.
and I inspect any technology.
Yeah, I guess so.
I
Yeah,
deconstruct technology.
+2 when used to create
Explosives.
I'd want a specific branch like explosives.
You know, I'd pick explosives.
Yeah.
If you're gonna force me, Phil, force my hand.
I've got a list of powers here that I'd like. I don't know how to
Read
translate
mind,
them
compel
into
others,
mechanics.
foresee future insight, and outcome of events.
I don't know if that's like the same thing, the last two.
They sort of are, but I will. I wish Sean had left his character sheet so I could look more at it.
He really ran out the door to get the bees. He's just gonna sit there by himself.
You didn't want to let Bobby sit there by himself.
I kind of. Oh man. Yeah, would look over. I can sort of like construct like a stunt over the next week to like, and like give you feedback on it to like give like a balanced sort of stunt for these.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so,
Otherwise,
like,
I can't think of anything.
Yeah,
right
I don't know
off
if
the top
it's
of my head.
straight up like foresee. Like it might be the same thing, like flash of insight on future event, and maybe that'd be the thing you're taking. Like you like what's gonna happen here, and you like use a dice or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I will. I think I'll. Yeah, there's a sort of one thing. I'll come up with a system that you can sort of dynamically spend fate points on or something to foresee the future and do this.
Okay.
Do read mind and compel others.
Okay.
Yeah. And it looks like you've got one stunt handled.
That you don't like.
I
You're gonna like it a lot less when we start playing, Phil.
Like I guess like I use the example stunts as a guide a lot. To,
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of them are more narrative driven rather than just like I'm better at making explosives.
Yeah,
sort of
you're
thing.
right. You're right.
Well, and that's not to say being better at making explosives is bad thing. I feel compelled to try to drive it more towards like this is an awesome scenario or like yeah, it's hard for me to say. I've never really made a stunt myself since I've only been GMing.
Oh
so.
my. So, you should make stunts. Make your own stunts. I've never done it,
Well,
but you should.
okay, that's a lie. I've made stunts for my, helped with making stunts for, all my party members when I've been GMing my last 2 games, but...
Help me, Phil. Help me.
Help me, help you, help us all.
Alright, well, we have time to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, that was session 0 of Myths of the Star Portals.
Yep.
It'll be something when we start.
It'll be something.
It'll be something. Alright.
I just thought of a cool alias.